What's up, all you beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of The Strange Road. I'm your host, Mikey, and of course, always riding shotgun, Bub.
What's up?
And Stoner, the loner, once again, in master control, holding it down, doing all the visuals, video, and audio today. We know you're with us in spirit, Sir Bro of Diz.
Oh, yeah.
But today, we have a pretty incredible guest. Our longtime friend, our bro, Ron Holgado from the Parachute people. Ron is the Duke of the Vibe Tribe, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
We introed a little bit last night, our episode for today, and we absolutely, want to get into a lot of things with you tonight, Ron, but we really want to talk about the Parachute people, which started in 2014 by sneaking a parachute into Bonnaroo at shows.
Oh, yeah. So just that tagline right there, sneaking a parachute in a Bonnaroo. Like the amount of times I've told this story to people are like, parachute, like, are you guys like jumping out of airplanes? And like, right. No. Let's rewind it back a bit. Like parachute, like gym class parachute, like the ones from elementary school.
Yeah. Right.
Like the big ones that you see on memes. You pop up on Reddit, the nostalgia page, like, oh, the best day in gym class. Those types of parachutes.
Yep.
Yeah, like imagine just taking a big 50-foot like piece of fabric into like a festival where everyone's just getting wavy, feeling gravy, and just like having the time of their life, and you just reshoot them, reinsert them back to the like the deepest part of their childhood. Yeah, that's what me and my friends get to do every year, all summer long, and just like invite them to play again. Just be a kid.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah. And it's amazing.
The best time.
I can attest to that. It's a good time because I was at Shaky Knees getting a slice of pizza, and I looked over and I went, Ron? And you were there, and I said, we're getting pizza, and you said, don't worry about it. I'm getting pizza. And I was like, okay. And then you're like, just follow me. And you walked away with like, I don't know, 10, 15 pizzas, a couple people worth, right? Mm-hmm. And that wasn't first. I don't even know that we ate those first. First thing was we went into the middle of the show that was going on, like Electric Guest or whoever it was, and we put up the parachute during the daytime, and people were just like losing it, like running under it, just, while we were holding down the sides of it. The crowd didn't mind it, It seems like from an outside perspective, it would seem like intrusive, but moreover, people are like, go, do it. Like,
they see it, they go nuts.
It's an amplifier.
And that's the thing, like this thing.
Let's back up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Let's,
absolutely.
I would like to, let's back up just a hair. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how the idea of sneaking a parachute into Bonnaroo
That's a good
came about,
point.
and then, lead us down the path of like, now you're a nonprofit, the Parachute people, and you've been able to grow this into an amazing nonprofit that raises awareness for mental health. You guys do amazing things for people, and just kind of take us back a little bit and the inspiration behind.
Good point. I've never heard how it came about. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2014, man, that's like almost a decade ago. So in my life at the time, 2014, I was turning 25, going through the proverbial quarter life crisis or what have you.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out my way in life. I didn't know if I wanted to be a doctor. Didn't know if I wanted to go and be a nurse. I didn't know what. But all I did know is that my friend recommended this meditation, this 10-day meditation called Vipassana. Mm-hmm. So if you don't know about Vipassana, basically it's you spend 10 days in absolute silence. You don't even make eye contact with people. So I just knew that my friend did this little Vipassana retreat, and he was able to focus and just hone in. You're sober, you're leading up to it, and then because of it, you get into like this deep state sort of trance. Like I had no idea I could like tap into this part of my brain. And within this, it's almost like I was like tripping.
Yeah, well,
like,
that's a higher state of consciousness. You get into those realms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in this higher state of realms. And like at the time, like I said, I was trying to figure out my way in life. And I got into one of those like deep states of like visioning and everything. And I thought I would like find the answer of like, all right, I know I want to help people. This is the path I want to do. And during these like 10 days, all I could do and all I could see and hear is just the visions of like this waving, billowing parachute, and then just hearing kids laughing and just like.
What? I'm getting chills, dude. That's
Dude,
so
I've
cool.
never heard. This is incredible.
Yeah, this is the stuff that like I don't really get to like have this like long form to talk about.
Dude,
like
this is
Yeah.
amazing.
my
that's
personal
perfect.
joy within this.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's chilling because like you're there for 10 days and you're just trying to like sit through your own thoughts, trying to like quiet the mind, focus on the breath, and I went to my instructor and just be like, hey, what does this mean? Just like,
Yeah.
and you're just saying like, you're just thinking to yourself like, all right, it has to just follow the signs. Like, all right, there has to be something here. So after that 10-day retreat, I got back just feeling re-energized, and I'm like, all right, let's just follow this path and see where it goes. So fast forward, this was. It's funny because the 10-day retreat ended on April 20th, 2014. So, and it was Easter. So it was like,
Okay.
all right, you're 10 days, you're completely sober, and then you're just like coming back to reality. I'm like, all right, cool, 420 Easter, here we go. Like feeling alive and just ready to just kind of throw back what you've learned from this whole retreat. Anyway, back into June, we decided to sneaking in a parachute is like the funniest way to do it because like we are not the first people to ever think about like bringing a parachute to a festival.
Okay, fair enough.
There's plenty of people who've brought that, like they snuck it in, and like sure enough, it's like moths to a flame. Like, all right, like this is gonna be fun. We'll just see what happens. However, the parachute people are the first to like utilize this tool, something that we've all recognized from our childhood, and tie it to a purpose and a higher reason. And at the time, I don't know if you remember this, but like 2014, that's about the same year that Robin Williams passed away unexpectedly. And like, I don't know where you were, but like that rocked my world. Like, how could someone just so happy and cheerful just off themselves? And
We
like,
grew up with Robin Williams. Dude.
yeah,
Well, but it was a little. He had a lot going on. I don't think it was. I don't know if it was fully just depression because he had Lewy bodies with dementia.
it was Lewy bodies dementia, and that's
Very hard to diagnose, even.
it's not really talked about, and I
Right.
know his widow has been a very big advocate of like raising awareness for it, and I
Yeah.
definitely read like her call out to research of just be like, hey, this needs to be addressed because we need to rewrite this narrative that he didn't lose a battle of suicide because
That's
of
what
it.
I'm saying is a lot. And not saying it's not sad or tragic by any means. It's both. And huge fan of Robin Williams. Obviously, growing up watching all of his films, all of his work. Him being the first real animated voice of a animated film in Aladdin, and being
the genie.
but also not wanting any of the credit, not wanting to outshine the other actors in it. And after that happened, Disney blew him up. The director that did that gave him like a $4 million Picasso years later to make up with it because Robin said, "I will never work with you again." And the guy was like, "I messed up so bad." It's the only way he could think of it was like, "Man, this is how bad I feel. Like I want to show you this." But
Exactly.
his widow saying that to have that narrative around his death changed, I agree, because it does come off like, oh, he was just as sad as everybody else. And no, I think he didn't know what to do with it. Like he was just kind of like, I'm going to live with this and slowly keep forgetting my lines and not being able to be this actor and, basically become handicapped to what I know I can do all the time. It's like Bruce Willis going with the aphasia now, right? Like can't speak, can't do lines. Like that's a big shift.
Absolutely. So like the Robin Williams, the reason why I brought him up, and like the stigma with mental health wasn't really talked about at the time. And another context clue, 2014 social media was way different than what it is today.
Yep.
Absolutely.
The Instagram, the Facebook. Instagram was way different back then. Like everything was based off a timeline. So it rewarded people who were just always on it, and just kind of like you can see how your friends posted in real time. This was before suggested posts, and this was like the underutilized hashtag sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
hashtags don't mean anything.
hashtags don't really mean anything now.
Yeah.
And like I've just become so
It's all reels.
it's all reels, and I'm so disillusioned. Like I feel like it's a young person's game, and like 10 years ago, I was still feeling like a young person.
Oh,
Yeah. But
Dude, you were crushing it on Instagram with the original Roo Chute Instagram page, which is now the Parachute People.
yeah,
You guys had you were able to amass quite a following.
it's incredible. Like, I have to like pat myself back in the team, like, of how much we've grown, like, naturally and organically over the
Yes.
10 years. Like, we had 10,000 followers before Reels came out, and none of them were bought. It's just like something
Right.
that I'm just like personally like really proud of, just because like we had a really cool community that was started organically because of the hashtag. And the reason why the hashtag is so important, like, that was the way that people found themselves on Instagram. Like, you play with the parachute at Bonnaroo. The parachute had 2 things written on it. It said hashtag Roochute, just so like you can go back and like see yourself for whatever reason. And then the only message on there, it said be happy. And the be happy message is a reference to my Vipassana retreat. At the end of every little lesson, it said, may all beings be happy. And like,
That's
that was
cool.
such a beautiful universal message
Yeah.
that I wanted to share. And like, by sneaking in the parachute at Bonnaroo, like, that was like kind of like the nexus point of where we are today.
sure.
Yeah.
Do you think with like the Vipassana,
Vipassana, yeah.
with that retreat and being in the silence and no contact with anybody, basically, right? You're not using, I'm assuming, phones, computers. It's
Exactly.
pretty basic.
Not even writing, not even like, you can't work out, you can't jog. Everything has to be at a...
So it's kind of like a sustained. I did a float pod deal, and I didn't get the full effect because I couldn't really do it at the time. I was having some body pains, but it makes me think of that, or even like the cave stuff they're doing now, where it's like, total darkness for like 6 days of, that sensory deprivation. So in the absence of that, you're allowing your deeper subconscious and your mind to work through all of these thoughts that we don't get to address in our regular day-to-day lives. Like, we need to not just take that vacation, because that vacation is going to include decision making and anxieties about, what time are we doing this, or where are we going, or what are we going to, we don't stop and do what you did. A lot of people don't stop and have 10 days of like.
It is so hard to get like even just like 3 days off for a vacation. So like, I just thinking back on it, like, I have never been quiet for more than maybe like 8 hours because of just one sleep and
Yeah.
like on a plane. But
Yeah.
to do that for 10 days straight, yeah, you sit with your thoughts and things unearth, and because of that, you kind of just like explore. And going back to like the reason why I did it, like, I didn't really find the answer to like, all right, if this is my definitive path in my career, but somehow this parachute idea that was just like an idea leading up to it, I'm just gonna like see where it goes.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I decided that, because 10 years ago, if I would have had that path of like, oh, cool, let's go to nursing school and start that path, I would not have been able to have this really awesome adventure. I probably would not have a different path,
Right.
and have this synchronistic sort of like journey to like,
Yeah.
see
We definitely
you.
would have never met you.
Dude,
Yeah.
definitely not met you. And then like, even I look down, this guy right here, like, you've gotten to learn, like, know me over the years, Mikey, and
Yeah.
Bub too. Like, one of my love languages is gift giving, and
Yes.
right here, like, ET. Every time I tune into the show, I'm like,
You're here.
Oh,
ET 's
you're
here.
you're here.
You're here.
Oh, we're all here. Like,
Right.
we're all connected in some sort of way.
Right.
And that's the beautiful thing about
Yeah.
like this Strange Road community. I'm like, even though I'm tapped in, I'm like, all right, yeah, shout out ET.
And look at all the fam in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
What's up?
Wilkie, Andy,
Yeah.
Monica.
You got people
we
popping
got
off in the
some
chat,
Strange
too.
Road folks,
Hell yeah.
Flutz, and Born Not to Run. Some people that you're getting introduced to right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
know.
this is wild.
I,
We're
What's
just
up?
expanding the vibe tribe, dude. That's what it's all about. The Bro Zone is a space to expand the Candy Cane Mafia. I mean, you guys have
Shout out
you have
Candy Cane Mafia.
give that
You
platform to
guys
people to
have
get their
so
message
many
out.
names of like the Trying to Go to Bed Bonnaroo crew, the Parachute, the Roo Chute people,
AKA, yeah.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. We,
You know
the
what,
Vibe
that's-
Tribe is when ET
That's
came on
what-
the scene.
that was it.
That
That's
was
what
the
you guys
year
need to
we
do
got
for
called the
Bonnaroo
Vibe Tribe.
sometime. You need to put up wanted posters Roochute people, aka the go to bed, like
it
put
is
all of your
wild.
aliases and like a picture of the Roochute people with like the jumpsuit on them.
And that's the cool thing. Like, we have so many like little like markers out there in society. Like, if you're at any festival, you see a candy cane, people are like,
We know who that is.
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh!" If not,
Yeah.
it's a nice little conversation starter because
Yeah.
like
You're right in your language.
Giant blow up candy canes for
Yeah.
folks that are uninitiated.
Yeah.
and on a deeper level, like it
And
just
you can see them from when, we're coming all the way on the other side of what stage, and you see the candy canes
Which
floating. Right. The candy canes floating through the crowd in this wide expanse, and you can see them all like ants meeting at a nexus point.
Yep.
When then, hey, there's all the cluster of candy canes, and then here comes ET floating around, and it all just kind of.
ET was coming home for sure. The amount so like with ET here, he has his little finger guns right here. And
That's the phone home.
That's the phone.
His phone home finger has worn out from people phone homing him so much at festivals.
Yeah, just right there.
It's literally
And I
blasted
believe
out.
he got birthed at it was Bonnaroo 2017.
18.
2018, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the return of you guys there. And he had like this like almost like glow pop. No, what is it? The ring pop sort of thing, but
Yeah.
it was like an LED.
Yeah.
He had that on the finger.
Yeah.
And it was the most beautiful thing because like you had him on a totem, the
Yeah.
little signs there, and then everyone was just kind of like phone home.
Right.
Phone home.
Well, let's back up a little bit there. And first of all, we can talk about how we met you. 2016, Ron Father, who's in the chat, me, Stone, Bub, Andy, Bryce, and Kim, right? I believe so. And we were at Band of Horses, and I just snapped a shot, a wonderful. It's still on my Instagram. You guys can scroll down to the bottom, go way back in the back time machine, and it's us with a group shot.
Oh,
at,
yeah.
Band of Horses
Afternoon
Yeah.
show.
and the Roo Chute was just in the background, flailing.
bombing. Yeah.
So we had actually played with it earlier in that day and had been around it, and we're like underneath it and going nuts. And then it ended up in the back of that shot. And then after Roo, I posted that, and you're like, "Hey, what's up, Roo Chute represent?" And I was like, "Wait, hold on, dude. This is awesome. Like, where are you from?" Like, "Oh, Columbus, Ohio." I'm like, "There's no way the Roo Chute people are from Columbus."
We had no idea of each other's existence.
That was wild,
That
bro.
was wild, and that's the connection. That's the next level sort
Yeah.
of meta like references of like where it's
Well, and then I
that reaches everywhere.
I
But
worked with
Stone
you.
and Ron had,
Yeah, we worked at
right.
the same place.
Right. And those guys had done a shoot with the Roo Chute at the hospital and had covered some kind of event that you guys were doing. Either it was like right before that or after, and they
was
just had no
immediately
idea.
after.
Yeah, it was after.
Well, and I saw them on campus too. I saw Stoner shooting on OSU campus. I was like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "Me and Ron are working." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, so Ron as in Ron
Father.
Vaughn, Ron
Yep.
Father.
The
Yeah.
Ron.
Yo, shout out Ron Father out there.
Ron
yeah.
Father.
Yeah, and that little Bonnaroo 2016 reference, I will always remember that picture because like Ron Vaughn is just looking
Bonatron.
Bonatron came
Yeah.
out, and he has these like obnoxious pixel glasses, and I will recreate the
Those
photo.
are from Bryce.
And I don't know if you can get a
God.
shot of me doing this, Stone, but he was just kind of like
Yeah, exactly.
like
That's
the
it.
jaw down, like just like spaced out. Just like,
Bonashan Rom.
oh my!
We were
gosh.
calling. He had like 20 nicknames. Bonashamron was one day.
Bonatron.
Raver Ron, Bronatron. Like he had so many, and everything was. Go ahead, you got to go ahead and get ahead.
Oh,
like,
he was on a golf cart at one point, zooming around in like a yellow safety vest with one of the like festival workers. We're like, "Where are you? We're going to a
Festival
show."
legend
And
right there.
he's like, "I'll be back. Don't worry." And he would just materialize, and then you'd be at a show with him, and he'd be gone, and he'd be off on another adventure.
Oh my gosh, there's one of our tangents again. Like, and this is like, we need to get all these.
But we hadn't actually met at that Bonnaroo.
No, Spiral Mikey is not a blip on my radar at all.
Yeah.
Like, and then because of the hashtag, literally, like
Yeah.
that's when hashtags were utilized for me, just like connecting with people. And
Wow.
because of that, it's just like our energies and like our orbits collided. And
Yeah.
here we are, like literally 8 years later.
Yeah.
I would never have like seen this manifest before, like being on the Strange Road set, talking about like just story of nonsense at Bonnaroo like 8 years ago. But
Right.
Yeah.
That's what music festivals do for me, and that's why I love like going to them every year.
Yeah.
So
Hey, Ron,
Oh.
Kyle's requesting the hat might need to come off because
Either that, or if you
right
just
here.
like shift it back so it's not hitting the glasses, might be all right.
there we go.
I think it's just because it's clacking a lot, and it's not loud to us, but it's probably loud on
Yeah.
the feed.
There we go. Here, you know what?
As long as it doesn't hit
There
the
you go.
shades, I think you're
Oh,
cool.
there. How
Yeah.
about
I asked him
So
about
on
this earlier too.
the hat, we've got these beads hanging off the front, and
Yeah.
Ron's amazing glasses. It's tapping.
You got to tell him.
There we
There you
go.
go.
Okay, yeah,
You
that's-
got to
that
tell him. I asked you earlier. Did you make it? Did you buy it? Where did you
this,
get it?
This is a custom one-off right here from my buddy Amber in California, Disco Ducky Creations, or Disco Ducky Designs, excuse me. And it is plush. It is like a little
That's cool.
chandelier. And this is something I wear at festivals everywhere. And this is just like the coziest thing. But you know what? For the sake of me moving, I will show you my little bed head. Here we go.
Oh, you're
There you
good.
go.
You're good, man.
There you go.
I walked in, dude. You were on
Boom.
the beanbag chair. You looked so unbelievably comfortable.
Oh,
You were like a sleeping angel. You looked like my 5-year-old sleeping, like just like
thank
ah.
you. Just, you know.
You looked comfortable. I'm
was
not gonna
just
lie.
Being too chill, Ron, bro. Just like
You looked
You
very
were
comfortable.
ultra chill.
ultra chill.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that I just came off of night shift, so like I couldn't miss an opportunity to catch you and be up on here and
Yeah.
share what we're doing later tonight.
Yeah.
With the parachute people, like
Yeah, dude.
we're actually meeting up all this weekend here in Columbus, Ohio. Like the parachute people, from that idea of 2014, fast forward to now, like a simple idea of taking a parachute, sneaking in the parachute to Bonnaroo, has now become a 501c3 nonprofit, and we've evolved that idea to really try to find a way to like take this to the next level and
Yep.
like take it beyond music festivals and
Yep.
spread awareness in schools, in our communities. And our nonprofit board is meeting here in Columbus. We have board members from California coming in, board members from Colorado Springs area, from DC, from Georgia. All of us are coming here to really like lay out the game plan of
Yeah.
what we want to do and
That's
how,
cool.
how to get people involved.
Yeah.
And like build upon this idea.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And you guys have an event tonight.
Yeah, an event tonight here in Columbus.
Links are in the description, everybody, if you
Yeah.
want to learn more about it.
And you can tune in virtually. We're from 6 to 8. We're just going to be talking. All 6 of us are on the panel to like just share like our origin stories, like how we became involved with it. My story is only just my part of the narrative of
Sure.
how I got in, but like I've been really blessed to really connect with people who are very passionate of taking this parachute, taking some silly thing and wanting to make people smile, wanting people to kind of uplift the spirits and radiate positivity.
And the team's all coming in.
The team's all coming in. Like,
Yeah. Who's all coming out?
let's see. So Nick Sherwood's coming in. Should be flying in from I think Georgia area. He should have been touched down by now. Anna's coming in from Colorado.
Awesome.
Reed is coming in
Reed.
from San Francisco.
Oh, dude.
Midwest Reed's coming out.
Nice.
Casey is going to be here in spirit today, but he's going to be flying
AC,
in.
He's the man.
Yeah, so he's a Camp Daddy.
Yep.
Camp Daddy is now actual daddy. He just
Oh my God, dude!
Wow.
Casey, congratulations,
he
brother.
brought in some beautiful
Incredible.
life into this earth,
Wow,
and
dude.
he is no longer like having to father like 300 people at Bonnaroo, like organizing, trying to go to bed group camp. He can father his baby girl and also their dog Waffles.
Nice.
Shout out Waffles.
Nice.
And 2 more people, Sydney coming in from Virginia, and Cole, who's coming from down the street. So
Oh yeah.
that's a little reunion of energy here coming in tonight, and we're gonna share. So tune into the description below. That would be awesome.
Absolutely.
Definitely check that out.
Absolutely, dude. Super, super proud of you, dude. Like, really.
you.
I mean, going back a little bit, right shortly after Roo, you invited me to come down and shoot a bloom that you guys were doing, totally separate thing in the Oval. Mm-hmm. And I came down and shot some stuff with you guys. And that's where we kind of first actually met, was on that. We had been kind of DMing and stuff. And then we had just run into each other at different things through the next couple years and kind of kept in contact. But then 2018 is when, slightly before that, we were at Humphreys. You were at Humphreys McGee, and I was shooting, helping tour gigs with that live stream. And I went and hung out with you at your house with your roommates afterwards. You remember?
I do remember. Yeah, that was I lived on like right near OSU's campus over on King Avenue, and after one of your sets, we just got talking like how we do. We can like you and I, and that's why I love the energy between you and Bub. Like you can just like go on a tangent for half an hour and you just like time is suspended. You can just like bullshit about nothing. And one of those moments we were just like talking about like childhood memories, and like one of them you mentioned on an offhand comment, you're just like the significance of the movie E.T.
Well, I walked in and you guys were watching it.
We were watching
on the
E.T.
projector on this huge screen. I walked in, I'm like, oh, E.T.? I love that movie. He was like, oh.
That's all it took.
Yeah. Well, and then I told you the story, like the significance of E.T. E.T. came out in 1982. That's the summer I was born. It was the blockbuster of that summer. And I was adopted, so I was at a foster home for 6 weeks before my parents came and picked me up. I didn't have a name, so they called me E.T. And I had a little tiny T-shirt that I wore basically every day. That was the only clothes I had, was a 1982 movie E.T. original 1982 movie T-shirt. Mm-hmm. And that was basically like my gown, like I slept in it, everything. Still have it to this day. So I told Ron and his roommates that story. And then fast forward to the summer, we were busy shooting Bunbury Festival and a bunch of stuff. And it's like, man, I didn't get a chance to go and get glow sticks and toys and fun stuff for Roo. But if Roo Chute needed any help, like getting toys or, I'll throw down and help you guys out with that. You're like, oh, I got this toy order down at Big Fun. Can you go, that'd be huge. Go down and help me out and pick that up.
I love Big Fun.
So I walk in. There's this huge bag of all these little baby hands and bobbly and third eye bobbly eyes.
Yeah.
And the clackers and all the stuff you use to like get people involved when you're doing the parachute blooms and the coordinated amazing stuff that you guys do. And we'll get into some of that stuff. And then look at the bag, and then I look in this other bag, and here's E.T. sitting in the bag, and I walk up and just start shaking my head and just disbelief. And the guy looks at me, he's like, yeah, your buddy said this was, you might be a little freaked out or blown away by this. And I was like, dude, you have no idea. So E.T. is, Ron gifted me this, and then of course we had to bring E.T. out to Bonnaroo. And I picked up Stoner and Andy and opened up the back of the trunk to get everything loaded in, and E.T. was just sitting right there. So from the get-go, his presence started to just build on the car ride.
Yeah. He came in swinging, and I think Andy came in and with Stoner just like honking the horn, just like E.T. is home. And then
and we brought him. Stoner had him on top of the car, driving through on top of my car through the sunroof, and people were losing their shit. He didn't look like this either. Sam Thompson, our buddy,
he's got a lot of gear that's been built.
He's evolved.
Andy made this awesome
accessories right here.
Hawaiian shirt.
I mean, if you're not going to Bonnaroo without a shirt like that,
right?
You need something to.
But he was totally bare.
Totally bare, and then it just became just like an evolution.
Glow sticks, space helmet,
even like glasses, like little glow glasses on him too.
Yeah,
for ET, and like that's just like my caring spirit. Like it's honestly, like I said, it's like one of my love languages. I love gift giving, and essentially like the parachute is it's a free gift. It's it's a reminder to be kinder for everyone else.
Yeah.
And that's what we say is the parachute. Not only kind to others, but most importantly yourself, and just giving yourself that kindness to like make sure to play.
Yeah,
it's not an easy thing to do, is it?
I mean, dude,
No.
it's more than
not
that.
easy.
I've seen grown men in tears hugging you after these blooms during
Powerful.
Bro, I was blown away.
You're hitting them in spots
I
they
mean,
don't touch on.
it was crazy.
You've locked those thoughts up. Nobody
Not just
remembers
once that happened. I've seen that happen multiple times over the years where people just get so emotional. They're just like, this is the most amazing thing. Like, you have no idea how healing this was, because it's creating a circuit. Everybody gets on that parachute all together, and there's this circuitry that happens where everybody's one. And with you got a big blowhorn. I mean, we have some photos of the parachute and blooms and stuff. I mean, we can show some of that. You forwarded some images over. But like, my favorite memory is when you guys coordinated with Bonnaroo, allowed you guys to bloom it from the very front during, I mean, it was one of the largest What Stage shows I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And we knew you guys were going to bloom it. And then all of a sudden we're sitting there during, I don't remember what song it was, but out of nowhere, the parachute just comes right over our head.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, there's just a giant party under the parachute. And you guys started that parachute. And people around us, they had maybe had never seen it before, were just freaking out. I mean, it just like...
It's like a magic trick.
Wow. It is like a beautiful magic trick.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of this thing. Like, so at this time, U2 was in 2017. U2's only music festival appearance was at Bonnaroo, so that was a big deal.
Yeah,
and like that
was an amazing.
They were
show.
suffering some light ticket sales from the year before, so they were like, all right, we got to come back swinging. And like, sure enough, they come back with bringing U2. That one wasn't really technically a sanctioned like Bonnaroo collaboration, and that's what I love about the early days.
Yeah, that's right.
Early days of Roo Chute, it was like we were very run and gun, renegade, guerrilla, just kind of like
Guerrilla
all right.
Roo
That was
Chute.
the year that we came out and shot with you guys. 2017.
That was the
Me
year.
And Stoner.
And just trying to just figure it out. Like, all right, cool. We'll just take
we had
it,
media
take it here.
passes and we're getting behind the scenes at some point. But yeah, a lot of stuff was not sanctioned.
A lot, but that's what makes it fun and exciting too. Because
Yeah.
it just like it's enough like deviance to be like, all right, cool. Like we're getting away with stuff, but it's like at the end of the day, it's just all in good fun and like
You're not destroying anything.
No.
Right. You're building up, but that's like I get what you're saying. You're still pulling off a caper of goodness.
That's like tastefully adding like vandalism, like be putting googly eyes on like on statues, or just like slapping stickers on places where it shouldn't be. But we brought the parachute, and I would love to give a shout out to the wizard, our wizard, Patrick Frometh. Like
Patrick's the man.
He's a big reason why like we had like moments like that. So
that's cool.
He is like the one that pushes me to the edge of like, all right, should we do this?
We're doing this.
We're doing this. And more often than not, it's a good idea because it's all about the spectacle. It's like a big magic trick.
I agree.
So he snuck that parachute in during U2, and this was his little brainchild idea. He knew that there was going to be a lot of visibility there, and that year in 2017, he unleashed a message that said, "Think kindly, act boldly."
Yeah.
Which is a shout out to an organization on the East Coast that was benefiting the victims of the Sandy Hook community.
Okay. Gotcha.
So "Think kindly, act boldly" was like in response to that, and he wanted to reveal that message because the CEO or one of the leaders of that nonprofit was a big U2 fan. Mm-hmm. So in that moment, the song is, I think, Elevation.
Yeah.
So if you go on YouTube, Bonnaroo, and search Elevation, you can see the parachute literally just opening up in the crowd crowd surfing backwards all over the people.
And it reached us.
And it reached you. And the What Stage at Bonnaroo is the
and
largest
it's huge.
stage.
How that parachute ended up, and then the magical part is Stone was rolling when it happened. Like, we have footage of
filming
of that parachute coming over.
Yeah.
Like, it was just magical, dude. But, the big wild bloom that time on a Sunday, like
The
just
sunset bloom over there, like
all those times of just people really are just so joyous. Like you guys put so many smiles on people's faces and tears, like the amount of just emotion that you affecting people like that. Like, what did people come up and talk to you about after these balloons?
It's a synergistic vortex of, like you said, emotions and just energies. And what do people talk about? Anything from just like, thank you so much. I haven't had that much fun since I was in grade school.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Like, I've been seeing what you and your friends have been doing for the last few years, and I've yet to play with it, and I've been looking forward to this, and I'm so glad it's here.
Yeah.
When you mentioned Big Wild, like, that was a moment where we ran into friends that we haven't seen in years, and they came up to us and pulled me aside briefly. It was my friend Rita, and her and her husband, they just shared, like, they popped the question, they got engaged.
Oh, dude, that was amazing.
And I was like, all right, time out. We need to stop this thing and like celebrate this moment. So we were playing with the parachute, and this thing is 50 feet. Stopped everyone from playing. I just invited them to the center of the parachute, made a little announcement, and just be like, hey, these two just got engaged. And they had like just this beautiful moment. She showed the ring, and like to this day, they kind of they remind me of like, hey, like, thank you for doing that. That was really cool. And
didn't we shoot the engagement earlier that day, or was that a different couple?
You know what? That was a different couple. So
yeah,
just like,
there was an engagement where he actually proposed underneath the parachute.
Yep.
And Stone, I think, did a little edit from that.
Yep. So that was someone
that
who
was just like,
that was someone who reached out. And that couple right now that is, oh my gosh.
Sorry, I put you on the spot.
No, it's okay. That's Randall and Bays. That's her maiden name. I don't want to unnecessarily dox people, but
no,
oh my
you're
gosh,
good.
like their love is just like celebrated overseas. Like the last time I heard, they're in Japan. But to this day, Alex Randall. Yeah, there we go. We popped the question underneath the Bonnaroo arch.
Yeah.
And that was the moment you filmed and recorded, because he reached out like on Instagram, like, hey, I have this idea. I want to pop the question. I want to do it under the parachute. How can you help me? So we've had so many engagements underneath there, and it's just like so novel to see like all these little cool connections happen.
It's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, and then this past year, you guys had actually a space at Bonnaroo where you were doing coordinated play events.
Yeah,
with people.
Yeah, the playground. And since becoming a nonprofit, we've been given really cool opportunities as an official organization to showcase our ideas like within like the Bonnaroo centered complex, and we are in their nonprofit village starting last year, and we're going to be coming back this year. We have this area called the playground, and basically it's a nice little home landing base for us to kind of share ideas, like have our community like check in with us to see that we're more than just like a little Instagram presence. Like we can have meetups. You can have time to kind of like spend in between sets and just play. We have so many toys. A lot of like tactile sort of like configurations for people just to really just feel stimulated and just be a kid again. And also
the toys are incredible. Like the amount of balls and things that come out, like just unbelievable amounts of plastic ball. And then you guys do where everybody shakes and the balls just go flying
popcorn.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Colorful ball pit balls. That is a crowd pleaser that we love to do. And then something that we want to do later this year is bring back the Roo Chute. You remember that?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and bring back the LEDs. So even at night, it would be really cool to kind of just like have little popcorn moments of bright LEDs so people can have their fun when the sun goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, are you guys doing anything this weekend?
Yes. With this weekend, it's always weather pending, and And unfortunately, we're here in Columbus, Ohio. We're dealing with
yeah.
tornado warnings and
Oh, it's beautiful here.
oh
It's
yeah,
great weather.
Yeah, I love it.
Poured
here.
all day
Ohio.
yesterday.
That's why I've stayed all these years, man.
Glutton for punishment.
Oh my gosh, yeah, just old landlocked Ohio. But like, you know what? There's beauty to it. April is not really the month for a lot of like parachute blooms and pop-up activations, but
Fair enough.
come here in May,
Yeah.
and like primetime festival season, June, July, we're going to be coming around, reaching out to the community to ask and share their experiences, but also like get them involved in designing a new parachute. Like we are in need of buying a new parachute.
Oh, fair enough.
And also just like finding a new message, because every parachute edition has a very unique message that we want to share, just like a little reminder for the community. And this year we're going to be crowdsourcing like what the message would say, just so we can get the parachute people involved, the parachute people beyond involved, of like, you know what, if you had an opportunity to like have some sort of message shared to thousands, tens of thousands of people, what would it be? And we just want to give people that opportunity.
That's great.
That's awesome.
And your event this evening's Play It Forward.
Yeah, Play It Forward event tonight from 6 to 8 over on the Cover My Meds campus. Message the parachute people, Instagram. We have a few slots left, so the space is limited. But if you're in Columbus, yeah, please come out. Like, we're going to bring pizza. So come for the free pizza, come for the high fives. If not, we have plenty of open seats in the virtual room of Zoom. So if you're watching and have been hearing to all of this ridiculousness, yeah, please stay connected. And like, we just want to like build the community. And Bub, you said we're just keep the waves going. It's literally so many metaphors of the parachute. It's the ripple effect. Like, just all it takes is
But it takes everybody to be on that parachute. It's
If
like
someone
Bowser's spokes of a wheel.
Yeah,
you know,
somebody
if you cut yourself off from being connected to the wheel as a spoke, you're disconnected from the energy of that. And making this energy, like Mike said earlier, you're making a circuitry of people. That is really transferring into the energy state of them, and everybody buying into it. You know, it's the same when we talk about sporting events. You get people collectively in these big arenas where all of this energy is, you know, collectively there and then divided on once they're there. But you've got collective energy focalized. Like, that's big.
But how you've been able to orchestrate people with the bullhorn, with the whistle, like you're always
you're like a feel-good contractor. Like, get over there.
I've heard stories of Ron directing festival traffic. If you've ever been to a giant festival, there's problems where people don't know where to go.
And a whistle.
They don't know where to go.
Glow sticks.
So they're just like, everyone's, you know, there's people on drugs, there's people losing
That's something you could incorporate.
And I've heard stories of Ron getting his whistle out and going, let's go.
What if you had festival traffic cops? Not that way, but like, hey, you're lost and looking for a show. I've got these glow stick lights. This way to Wolfpack, this way to Bourne's, this way to, you know, Tame Impala.
Yeah, what Mikey was saying, I had an orange vest and almost seemed like an orange wand, like air traffic control, like on the tarmac. Yeah, I was just like, the power you have with the whistle at a festival is deadly. So if you're listening to this, like,
I love
if you
it.
sneak in a whistle at a festival, please use it with utmost like precaution, because like it should be used like in key moments.
Yeah.
And in that moment there was like complete chaos in traffic. All it took was one person just to be like, all right, hey,
I'm
like,
taking control of this.
Kind of reset everything.
Reset everything.
Yeah.
And also, so.
But nobody except Ron would think to do that.
It's cracking me up just thinking about it. But like I said, like the little white gloves and like literally just direct. But think about it back at the early festivals of, say, the LSD movement. They had the trip tents. Like if people
Wavy
were
Gravy's Hog Farm,
right,
absolutely.
Like they had things in place for people that they knew, like, hey, we might have these things going on. You're just thinking of it like, hey, we need to get people to, because going to some of the festivals that are very big too, you're on a big landscape at Bonnaroo to find what show, and there's a lot of action happening and there's a lot of side traffic. So just getting to the right stage can be confusing, and there's a lot of people. And If I saw you waving me
You tell
towards the show,
first timers, like, if you get lost on Friday night, we're never going to find you the rest of the night.
No.
Like, if you get disconnected or
You're
think you're
done.
just going to go to the bathroom quick and not tell anybody, or, you know,
See you tomorrow.
and
See
it
you.
happened. Stoner's little brother and his buddy Andy.
give him a Snickers bar and be like, "I'll see you in the morning."
That's
Cody
why-
and Andy, we told them, like, yeah, if you guys get separated, but they ended up, of course, they had the best time ever.
Yeah.
And synchronistically, 7 hours later, we ran into them and found them.
Yeah.
So it's because I never let go, like, we're going to find them. We're going to find them back. And I was always
So you're
vigilant.
on the lookout for him too, then, yeah.
And they're sitting here going like this at, I think it was, God, I pounded my feet into the ground dancing so hard with ET at that show.
Was it a late night EDM set?
Yeah, it was at the oh God.
It was at the other
Porter
part.
Robinson.
Porter
It was
Robinson.
at Porter Robinson.
2 a.m.
And they're sitting there going like this. I just look over and back a little bit, and they're doing this.
Go for it.
Like, still looking for us, like, knowing full well that we're probably at the show just because of, like, the energy. Like I said, the whole time, ET was guiding the way. It had nothing to do with me. You know, people were calling me ET guy by Sunday.
That's
you know,
hilarious.
It became kind of a whole thing, like, hey, ET guy, come over here.
Yeah.
But the whole time is like, wherever ET takes us, that's where the fun is. He's got a nose for the fun. So let's follow wherever he's going, we're going. And we would just end up at these shows and just, like, be totally blown away. Like the one where all the candy canes all came together at, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now.
Which set? There's
yeah,
so many.
right.
Mob, Glitch Mob.
Glitch Mob. Oh my goodness.
Glitch Mob was ridiculous. And there were a lot of people that were just, like, on the outside, just shaking their head, like, looking at
And like you
at
said,
us just
you
wilding
see
out.
them from a distance, and it's just like one
All the
candy
candy
cane.
cane.
If without any context, like if you've never seen any of the candy canes at a festival, or maybe if you just saw them sprinkled everywhere, like all right, there's one, and
Do
then
you
you're just
ever-
like, there's two. I'm like, all right, there's some colluding going on. What's going on? And you just see them getting closer and closer.
Do people ever individualize their candy cane with, like, eyeballs or anything to represent, like, hey, this is Ron over here, hey, this is Bub over here,
Actually,
this is Mike?
We've evolved that people, I believe our friend Chelsea, like she wrapped hers, like instead of red and white stripes, hers is white and purple stripes.
Okay.
Nice.
I'd put some boggly eyes on it and, like, draw a little mouth and everything so you knew it was like me,
Almost like, yeah, like just
like a little horse.
every time I think of googly eyes and all that stuff, I think of Stickly from the old like Nickelodeon. Just like
Yeah.
you just put that right there. you
Never
know.
seen it. I
my-
didn't have Nickelodeon there. I never watched Nickelodeon.
Oh my gosh, Stickly, man.
That's funny.
That was like a deep cut from the late '90s right there.
I just think it would be hilarious, like a little army of candy cane eyeballed, like, inflatables going, and, like, you're like, oh, there's the whole crew, like the army is
Dude,
gathering to, like,
see
spread the love.
exactly where everybody is at every, like, you have an idea because, you know, it's a group camp, so we all run into each other in the morning. It's like, hey, we're going to this for sure.
Right.
Like Eminem. Everyone met up for Eminem that time. That's when that article was written about the Vibe Tribe, where at that moment I had to go to the bathroom and gave ET to Stoner. I was the only one not in the photo. But again, it wasn't about me. It was about ET.
Did you see
And
Necro?
Stoner had him right up front, dude.
Did you see your new nickname is Mikey T?
So right there,
Like
like
ET, I love it.
I can't believe Sean Wilkie is tuning in with the double hands praise. And you mentioned Eminem, and shout out Sean Wilkie for Eminem. I have a video.
Oh, dude, that was so ridiculous.
I have a video of Wilkie, like he was getting up and just like the song "I'm Not Afraid."
Yeah.
To take a stand.
Yeah, that was intense.
He had one hand up the entire time, and he had no idea I was filming him. And like him and I just clown and goof. I'm just like, you were dedicated, dude. And then if this hand got tired, bam, right there. I'm not afraid to take a stand.
Oh, dude.
Everybody, take my hand.
Oh, dude.
Oh my gosh, he's gonna hate me for that one.
I love how he's like, you know, you start with one, but like, damn it, I'm not giving up.
No.
Like, that'd be like
I
if I had
saw
a
that.
lighter that got too hot and I had another lighter during a lighter song, I would light the other lighter up. And I will say, when I was at Bonnaroo for my only experience, which was
2016.
fantastic, at the show for Pearl Jam. If you guys
Pearl Jam was
remember,
ridiculous.
they
I
did
do.
like a pretty late set, and they usually do a healthy set. But it was also Vetter's like 12 or 13
They
year
did
old
a
daughter's
3-hour
birthday.
set. Yeah.
It was her birthday.
Eddie.
And she's with her father at Bonnaroo. So for her birthday, for the song he sang for her, he asked the crowd to like pull out their cell phones and light all that up. And, you know, if you didn't have a lighter, and it was one of the first times where like you've been at a concert before back when lighters were the only way to do it. Now you have
What's a
cell
lighter,
phone-
Dad?
Yeah, right. Now with your cell phones, right? Like you had this whole
Burn a
like
house down.
augmentation of the show into the crowd and audience, and that kind of reminds me of the parachute too. Like you're helping augment the show for. Like if I was on stage as a band and somebody was like rocking a parachute during my set, I would be so stoked.
Well, we coordinated that at Bunbury.
Yeah.
With
That's
Andrew
the-
McMahon.
That's the one that was
I'd be
really
so
cool.
stoked.
You guys worked with Andrew McMahon's whole team.
That one
and
was an
then
official, like,
we
sanctioned
coordinated on the
thing.
video side and put it all up on the IMAX screens.
Yeah,
of
that
the
would
big
pump me up
wide.
as a musician.
So really cool synchronistic moment. So Andrew McMahon, he was the lead singer of a band called Something Corporate, who evolved into another band called Jack's Mannequin, and now Andrew McMahon,
solo project.
yep, solo project in,
Okay,
in the
I've
wilderness.
seen Jack's Mannequin before. Okay,
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I used to work at Hollister. And that was
you heard a lot of it.
And heard a lot of it. So I'm like, I've had my time with Jack's Mannequin, but Andrew McMahon is an inspiring story because like he is a survivor of cancer.
Gotcha.
And he has a foundation or nonprofit that benefits survivors with cancer. And
That's very cool.
so my day job, I work at a cancer hospital, and I found out, you know what? Let's reach out to him to see if we can coordinate a really cool moment to have a parachute at a set. And during that year, in 2018, he did a song called Synesthesia.
That's a great name.
I love that, and just seeing colors and everything. And so when you see colors during the set, he was like, "We have this parachute, and we want to take it."
He coordinated the whole
He
thing.
coordinated the whole thing, so he had his own
It was
parachute.
wild. Yeah.
But this parachute was only like a 30-foot one, so it was like.
JV parachute.
JV
compared
parachute.
To the parachute people.
So I'm like, hey,
Not Varsity Blues, Ron Holgado, Feel Good Forever for the rest of the festival parachute. We aren't talking
50,
no 30.
60 footer.
That's like the boat that Jaws took down. We need a bigger boat.
Yeah,
Ron's
that-
got that parachute.
you know what? Roochute came in to bring that BDE, and we're just
Hacking.
gonna be like, we're gonna come waving.
Oh, bro,
And just- we are
wavy. Always wavy.
So
Oh, that's funny.
And rocking.
we were like, we're here, like, all right, you already have a parachute, so why not use our parachute? And we had the one that you recorded when we met each other for the first time.
Yeah.
In front of the cancer hospital. And
Yeah.
The parachute message on it said hope.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a message of hope that we wanted to present to all of the patients outside of the hospital. So we used that very same parachute. Him being a survivor, it's like, hey, take our parachute and then have much more coverage, and we can collaborate. So
Yeah.
at Bunbury 2018, we had this crowd surfing moment, and if you search it on YouTube, it's a very powerful like experience of people just kind of like.
He put it up on his YouTube.
He put it up on his YouTube.
Yeah, I
and
remember
That's wild.
delivering the footage to his manager, and we did a like line cut, and I kind of made it, juiced it up a little bit, and refined it a little bit. And I remember handing that off, and it turned out really cool. We actually used that in our concert reel.
Amazing.
That one of those series out of that edit we use is in our like concert reel for our company.
And what's
This
really
is really cool.
it is so cool, and I hope we can do it again because Andrew McMahon and the Wilderness are going to be returning to Bonnaroo this year. And that's-
Dude,
Bro,
So,
hello.
get on it.
This is a little first time, possibly exclusive sneak peek on
I've had a lot of breaking news.
This is the
Yeah,
week
on the
of
show.
breaking news.
the recap. Groove Chute, LED parachute coming out, and if you guys are music fans out there. Pretty Lights, the DJ,
Oh, bro.
it just came back from
What?
recovering and just like out there doing like really big things with his new music. He just announced his whole tour.
Cool.
Pretty Lights is going to be at a festival in Florida called Halloween.
Yeah.
So I think it would be almost very appropriate to reveal Pretty Lights of the
At
Groove Chute
Groove
at
Chute.
at the Roo
Genius.
Chute.
So you're already architecting the scheme?
And no place other than the Strange Road fan community to be like, all right, hey, like if you're going to be down in
Make
Florida,
it happen.
let's manifest it, and let's go circle back in a year and be like, yo, Groove Shoot happened. Andrew McMahon Part 2 is going to happen.
Now you're making me want to go to Halloween too.
Halloween's pretty dope from what I hear.
Halloween is the electric force of the South. It is a string cheese incident like Haven. I love cheese. I love getting down. Love getting down to cheese. I love lettuce. I love pigeons. I love goose.
Yep.
And I know I sound like a crazy person when I'm just saying like, what are you talking about? And if you're not in the jam community, you'd be like, oh, like
You don't get
Yeah.
it.
You don't get it.
Sure.
But
A lot of bird names.
a lot of bird names. I love cake. I love Limp Biscuit. I love corn. I love meatloaf.
I always thought Cake was a great name for a band though. If
I
you
like
said I
Cake.
love Cake.
I
Cake's good.
love cake.
Cake's awesome.
Cake
We grew
is-
up on Cake. Like junior high, that was like 5th grade. We were listening to Cake.
Oh, we had a Tom Sawyer Huckleberry Finn book report to do, and this is what happened instead. I stole my oldest brother's copy of
Cake.
Cake Fashion Nugget and Tonic Lemon Parade or whatever that was.
Yeah,
Are
it
you
was
listening to
lemon-
yourself right now?
And that's all we listened to.
Oh, yeah.
We listened to Cake Fashion Nugget all day.
Oh yeah, we listened
Going
to
the
a lot of
distance.
Cake.
The first
that album.
first
Gets
album.
you amped, bro.
That's all we did. And then we were, shit, we got to do this book report come Monday. And all we had did, was screwed off and listened to music and jumped on a trampoline. We were like 5th or 6th grade. And then we went in and just absolutely improvised everything and got an A.
Yeah, we've been obsessed
So-
with music for a long. I mean, we were listening to pretty young. I mean, we were listening to some pretty rad stuff.
That's how I
like,
remember
back-
my life.
Yeah, is by
Is
what
by
we were listening
albums.
to.
I can tell you what grade
Pearl
I was
Jam
in by what
10,
album
third
I
grade.
listened to.
Snapshot of your life. Yeah, I forget like how I'm gonna butcher this saying, but essentially like art in your life, like it's like a timepiece. It's kind of like you know exactly where you were.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Because if you ask me, hey, in the 3rd grade, how old were you? I'd be like, I don't know, but I could tell you I was listening to this and this album. Or like, coming in from the playground and listening to, in my head, hearing Bush 16 Stone in the 4th or 5th grade, like, because I was listening,
Yeah.
Frog Stomp, Smashing Pumpkins, the Melancholy and Infinite Sadness double album, like stuff like that. And my mom
Chili
and dad didn't
Peppers,
know that my
Pearl
brother
Jam.
was letting me listen to all this stuff.
Yeah.
It was great.
Oh, by the way, Wilkie, 40th birthday for Halloween. Is that what he's saying here in the chat?
my
Oh,
God.
wow.
So if that's not a reason to come hang out and do Halloween, God.
Okay.
And hey, Wilkie is right.
Word.
Cake did play at 2014 Bonnaroo, and that is a really big reason why we're here today. Like, it's so easy to get lost at music festivals. So like that's why having a totem like ET is so important.
Right.
Important is.
Crucial.
I like that you say that.
vital.
And not even in a joking way,
But
right?
did you know that ET would become become a totem? You were just gifting me ET.
No, I was just gifting you because that's my love
It
language.
turned
dude.
into just something that was. I kept saying ET's. One of my favorite phrases that weekend was ET's going interdimensional.
Yeah.
And yelling it out.
Interdimensional.
But again, like he had glow sticks all over him. He had just covered by the end of it. He went through several different
ET's festival. ET's
he had an
festival
evolution.
drip was on point.
He had an evolution.
Yeah.
Much like Bonatron and Bonashamron. Like the parallels.
Oh, I watched him
were uncanny.
craft an entire outfit out of glow sticks.
Yeah,
like
they weaved him a vest out of glow stick wristbands.
It was
so strange.
intense.
Those two girls
It was
from
intense. When he showed up with that on, I was like, I was blinded by all of the glow sticks. It was amazing.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
fantastic, and he looked so damn happy.
But I
just
think
ear to
even you
ear.
were blown away by like Saturday of what kind of that turned into. It
Yeah.
became a life of its own. Well, first of all, one thing I want to talk about is the first physical representation of Brozone, which is what we call our studio, the Brozone Studios. So the very first, because Bub actually came up with the term Brozone, long time ago on a cabin trip.
It was a state of mind.
And
Brilliant.
he said, what
And
if
then it
it was
became physical.
the ozone layer was the bro zone.
Because the ozone layer protects the earth.
And I was like, yeah, so like the parameter of the bro zone is just kind of wherever we are. The bro zone can be wherever.
It was a moving target.
It doesn't really matter.
It's not a physical place. It's
Right.
So
being.
the first physical incarnation of the bro zone was campsite bro zone
campsite-
at Bonnaroo.
Yes.
It was back in tent only, right? And it was
Right up front.
right up front before before they had all these like I guess plazas now.
Mm-hmm.
Like tent only was a beauty because
That's how we did Roo. Before the group camp, our group, for those years, we camped only right up front. We had a wagon. We would pull everything
yeah.
up front. We did that for 4 years, about 5 years. So I've been 7 times. I think out of 5, 4 out of the 7 we did until we started group camping with you guys. But even with group camp, we had a campsite bro zone in 2018.
that's the one I remember. It's
That's
like,
that was kind of the first iteration, and there's a giant mural right across the alleyway of Campsite Bro Zone of a giant ET mural. We had no clue when we put that tent up that ET mural was right there.
of course
Like
not.
you can't make that
That's
up.
strange.
And it said "phone home" underneath like a little tag of the mural.
That's awesome.
I
And-
know I've seen that. I've
And
seen
we
that
would
mural.
go there in between. You guys would come hang out. Like sometimes we had a 2 chairs, tapestries, the pop-up tent, and a cooler with beer and ice, and that was it. And so we would go there in between shows, so we didn't have to go all the way back to group camp and hang out. People
Right.
would just meet there, and it was like a nexus
It
for
was
everybody
it was a
to
check-in
stop
point
by.
right there.
Not only did no one steal anything, but a couple times we came back and there was more beer.
Gifted right there.
There was
Well,
more beer in the cooler.
They were like, I'm just going to put it here. It'll stay cold. Somebody wants it. Cool.
Many times. I'm like, where did all this beer come from? You expect the beer to be gone. Like people
like a
would just
pot of
come
gold
in and
filling
jack.
back up.
No one stole anything. Not only that, but people added to. So tapestries started appearing in Bro Zone.
Because this was
It was just like,
2018?
who's bringing?
2018, right?
Yeah.
And I remember that too because you offered me my first beer at Bonnaroo.
Yeah, on a Sunday.
Because I wanted to make a conscious effort to do Soberoo and just
Yeah.
like as a challenge to myself and just like let others know
And you
that
did it.
It's possible. You can go to a festival and not drink, not do any drugs. And I was like, you know what? From this time to this time, I'm going to be sober. And then it was at that time, like I was like, all right, the last set's done. We're coming back out of the festival and tent only. You offered, I believe it was either Rheingeist or like Elvis juice.
Probably.
It was some sort of really nice like craft beer, and I'm like, I've never tasted anything so sweet.
Which came from the cooler that wasn't my beer.
And that's a gifted beer. I'm just like, what is going on? This is like beautiful, and like, all
That's
right,
great.
I see the power of people fasting. Like, I get why
Yeah.
why cultures have been doing this for
Oh,
years.
fasting's a great thing to do.
Yo, shout out Ramadan right now.
Oh, I've never endeavored down that road.
It's a challenge. It's just try it.
Yeah.
I used to work with a couple of physicians that definitely, the one would wake up before it began so he could power up on coffee because he loves coffee. He used to drink, probably still does, a couple double red eyes during the day. Just,
Yep.
and, no cream or sugar, just straight up coffee. But I used to be like, next year I'm going to try to like do it alongside you. And then I'd be like, no, I can't. I don't have the willpower. But I mean, I've gone like, I don't know, 48 hours, 72 hours with just water. Just because sometimes I'm like, how
Yeah.
far can I go before I really get hungry,
But
before
at
my
a
brain
certain
really
point,
doesn't work,
You're not hungry after a while. Hey,
Well,
Disbro.
you train yourself.
Disbro's here. Welcome,
Yeah.
Disbro.
You train yourself, your stomach learns, your hunger centers learn, your stomach will actually readjust in
Yeah.
size, like all of that. It's,
Yep.
because I definitely can pound a pizza still if I want to eat an entire, pie to myself.
Speaking of pizza, I'm so glad you mentioned like we ran into each other at Shaky Knees.
Oh yeah,
So
it was so much fun.
it's just like not the importance of like having a totem. The parachute is like the world's giant totem.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sure.
when I was sneaking in the parachute in 2014, like I had no phone service. Like I was just like without friends, and all I told my friends at camp, I was like, all right, at this time, at which stage we're gonna be at Cake. So just go to Cake and find a big parachute, and that's how you'll find me. So, like Wilkie said, that was the very first Roo Chute experience. And thanks to a good friend of mine here in Columbus, Ryan McKee, he helped guide me in. And I had, like, this is my first Bonnaroo. I had no idea how I was going to get this parachute in.
Yeah.
And this, like,
pretty risky, your first Roo.
The first Roo, like, and I'm in, like, this is
You're
like,
a Bonnarookie at that point.
this is,
Bonnarookie.
That's,
these are harebrained ideas, and I'm taking, like, honestly, like, I'm on just, like, all I know is, like, I have a parachute here. I have I have this big giant sack, and I have to get it through security. And, like, honestly, 2020 hindsight, like people don't know what this is. Like, when you say parachute, like when we first introduced the segment, I'm like, people are like, oh, is this like the one where you just jump out of a plane? I'm like, no. This is a toy. Like, this is very, very benign. It's non-harming.
Yeah.
But when I got closer to the security, things started to set in. Like,
yeah.
chemicals were just sort of like kicking up, and I'm just like, oh wow, I have to explain this to someone. Explain to security, like, how am I going to get this in? But thankfully, like, someone was like pre-checking like big bags, or just remind people, hey, dump out your water. Like, no liquids on the way in. I'm like, all right, cool. TSA all over again. So
Yeah.
I have this huge sack, and they go in and like, what is this? And whatever's left of my synapses, I'm trying to figure out, like, well, what am I going to say? How, like, this is the moment, because like, if I don't get in, I'm going to lose my friends, because all they're trying to find is like a big parachute at cake.
Yep.
That's it. Before I could even have an answer, they're like, is this a sleeping bag?
I was just going to say that's what I would have said it was.
And that's the best answer. So I knew that, like, at least a sleeping bag is not going to raise any flags. Like,
no, I mean, if you didn't put it in didn't put it in a stuff sack real well, and you just put it in there, like, because I mean,
and your
we bring our
parachute
sleeping
probably wasn't
bags
giant back then.
Oh, but it
was it a pretty big one?
This was, but
it'd
I mean,
still
like,
be a decent sized bag. Like,
it was a long tubular, so we used a military grade canvas bag. So,
yeah, packed it down a little bit.
But I made sure to kind of have a little bit out, just be like, hey, this is like, you can dig through, but it's a bunch of nylon.
Please don't pull my whole sleeping bag out of there.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
it's going to be a pain to stuff it. Yeah,
and I'm like, hey, you can just feel around. I'm not sneaking anything. Just like, and I really wasn't. It was just the parachute.
Well, I remember they said something like they're looking for, when I went, is there any weapons or stuff like that, or anything harmful, really? Like, so if you look at it, even if you go, okay, it's a parachute, what the hell is he going to do with it? Jump off of he's going to climb a tree around here or something? You know what I mean? So you'd go, it's no different than bringing in some drapes or something.
Yeah.
It's cloth. So it's very harmless, even in that sense, unless they thought, they would have to sit there and think, oh, God, he's going to go to a show and put this, they're not going to. So
No.
they were probably like, go ahead, man.
They're looking for weapons, and just like, that's what the metal detectors are for.
Sure.
So I mean, like, that's what. All right, is there anything pokey in here?
Right.
Like, no.
And after a certain time, they don't care. Like, you
Just
can
be
walk
safe,
through with
Which is good and
anything.
bad. I mean, just like we've seen, like, how festivals have kind of ended up. But I mean, like, I've always felt very safe at places like Bonnaroo. So
I think Roo
like,
has a pretty good working, and they have a community that
they know
helps
just
keep that together.
There's an army of staff, and it's
Army of staff, but-
evolved a lot over the years.
Yeah.
But even the people that have been going to it for years, they just like, they look out for another. They know
saying.
better. They're just like, all right, we're just here to have a good time and show the people who are new to the festival scene, like, this is
How
like,
to do it.
This is how you take care of your community.
Well, it reminds me of the climbing wall down here over at the Audubon. There's a very
Whittier
strong
Park.
community, right? Because people like the fact that there's this giant free climbing wall. You can go use it anytime you want. And there's no real, like, park enforcement of rules on that. So the community itself, to keep that there, if somebody walks up, and I've seen it before, they're looping an auto belay to their belt buckle or to their pant loop, I'm like, do you want to end up in the hospital? Like, because that's what's going to happen here. If you get high enough and fall, like, that's not rigged to support your body weight. You get what I'm saying? So people will kind of police that, because they know the importance of keeping people safe there, so it doesn't reflect badly, so that you can continue to have that Bonnaroo, that climbing wall, so that community builds itself around it. Because I feel like an outlier, only having gone once. I've wanted to go multiple times, and I've only made it once. But
You want a good experience, and you're just like, you want to keep coming back,
and
it's
keep building.
because of those people that are just like having those just pieces in mind, and just always thinking about the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. man, like how we've been chatting. I don't even know. Like there's time as it stood still, and I love
This place has a very
I love
it's
that
a black hole of time.
I love that so much, and I'm like, it's this is almost quite surreal because I like take a moment to like be in the moment. And, like it's so, I was locked in with each of these conversations, but like I look around, I'm like, this studio is so cool because I've been like admiring it from afar for the last I'm like 6 months and everything, and it looks way cool in real life, and I want to take this opportunity to give you a gift.
Oh,
Been waiting and holding on to this,
dude.
That's so,
So-
stellar.
here. I feel like this could be a really cool piece to add to the background.
Yes, dude.
And I really wish I could tell you a little more about it, and I don't want to do any disservice to the artists or like the indigenous people that it may represent.
Incredible.
But what I can tell you, this is real wood, and it looks carved, but here this was a gift from a patient.
Thank you.
That my dad took care of. He worked for the VA.
That's wild.
And
Look at that headpiece.
Oh, dude.
and
the
this was
serpent,
something that was
the dragon.
something that was just hanging out in his office. And like when he moved,
It's Toltecer.
I would love to like do like get someone from like an antiques roadshow. Like,
Bro,
hey,
thank you so much.
yeah,
See
absolutely.
The upside
Like,
down face right here.
Yeah.
If you flip it, you can flip it over.
That one.
And there's another face on the end, that way.
That's the one. Oh, wow.
That. It's upside down.
Look at that.
see, I would
Dude,
not.
this is so rad. Thank you, brother.
That's amazing,
Absolutely, and
Ron.
I just
Thank you.
realized I think it's a female figure.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, it could be a sign of like maybe fertility
Good
or like
feminine energy.
Well, the
feminine-
matriarch
yeah.
of the
we
group.
need feminine energy in the
Yeah.
bro zone.
We do.
You know, we always need.
We absolutely do. And we've tried to
Dude,
like
that's
explain the
amazing.
fact too that the bro zone is not a
so much.
the
Yeah,
bro zone's
buddy.
not a like male exclusive environment. It's just more of like
The bro
however that
zone-
environment came
right.
up, we were using the term bro at the time, but this became a thing because of the lake incident when I was waking everybody up to get the jet skis going because I really wanted to go out because the water
Bro-
was like glass.
Bro turned into the whole thing.
Everybody was tired. So I came in and started acting like this California beacher bro, surfer. I was like, bro, the water, bro, is so glass, bro. And I just kept doing it, and people were like so annoyed. But then when they got up and saw the water, they were so
We went
stoked. So then
tubing
we went
at
out.
like 6 a.m.
So yeah,
with
so
no
we just
sleep.
that took a life of its own. So bro doesn't mean to me.
It's from my buddy Jason Allen. Shout out to him. That I used to sell
is.
phones.
Shout out Jason
I used to
Allen.
sell phones back in the day.
I was
Before
transcending
in-
energy.
I did a lot of sales like for, I don't know, 10, 12 years before I ever got into video production.
Yeah.
And worked in a lot of phone stores. And some of the funniest people I've ever met my entire life, I worked with in those stores.
I can confirm.
Cell phone salespeople
Yeah.
were just odd. type people.
Jason's one of the funniest people on the planet.
Oh, dude, he will put you in tears. Like, just unbelievable.
nuts.
He's like half Cherokee, half African American, just a highly
Tell
unique individual.
Tell him the first thing Jason ever did when you were outside with the football in the parking lot.
I don't know.
He threw it on top of the building.
Yeah.
Because he was just like trying to show you how far he could throw it or something. He just
Yeah.
like chucks something. You're like, what the hell is that, dude?
I can
Like,
just picture like a Napoleon Dynamite sort of.
But he's
moment.
just like,
kinda
bro, what's up, bro?
Uncle Rico.
Like,
Dude,
so the
so
bro
funny.
zone kind of like evolved into from
from that,
we're a
to
buzzword.
jets- yeah.
We're just buzzword people.
We
And a
make
lot
our
of that
own
stuff,
language.
That's,
like, you know,
that's
at
why we
Roo,
vibe so well.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of those things at Roo, like me and Bub had been doing that stuff with our friends for years at these cabin trips and like retreats that we would do, and just to disconnect and get reset.
Just to kind of be able to hang out again as adults, but like a sleepover like kids again, like, you know, with your parachute, reconnecting. You know, we have gym class through junior high. We have gym class through high school. We graduate high school. And if you don't play sports anymore after that or going to college, people are like, I'm not running anymore. I'm
there's
not
no
doing this.
reason
I'm
to.
not putting up a parachute. Like, but they're losing such a big, important part
You need,
of life. Remembering we're just big kids.
are
That's
just
all
big
we
kids.
are.
And I love how you said that because there's a experience that I've always wanted to do is Burning Man.
Oh,
And one of the big reasons, so many reasons why I want to go to Burning Man, but the art there is just so incredible and powerful.
Yeah.
I think it was in 2016 and 17, like the early days of Roochute, was exploring where I could also go and just experience life. There was a huge installation of, I don't know what the material was, but it seemed like metal. But if you can just imagine two figures of silhouettes, and they were like two humans like back to back like this, one facing this way, one facing the other way, and they were hunched in like this. But in the middle is just two little children like in there just trying to reach to each other. And I saw that, I'm like, that's what we are. We're just big kids just trying to reconnect and play. And then for whatever reason, like we've kind of lost that childhood wonder. And circling back, R.I.P. Robin Williams, like he had that famous quote of like, everyone has that little spark of madness, you mustn't lose it sort of thing. And that's why like I just want to like continue this like parachute and literally have everyone be like, this is the reminder to be kinder to themselves. Like take time to play, like not only play, but also take time to pause and just like reflect and just appreciate things. Cause life is all about the balance. And I think there's a lot of power in that. And I think this nonprofit can really help perpetuate that message. At least that's my aspect of what I want to do with our mission.
Do you find that people come to it, experience it, and then B, they go away from it and learn they can do this for themselves? Not that they don't need the parachute or that it's not, do it one time, you never, but that they find, I can incorporate this. I can tap into this myself as well. And how to find that path of like, how do you recreate your own parachute moment for yourself daily, right? How do we do those?
I believe people do it intuitively. And that's what it takes with this organization. And that's why like we're here this weekend to really find the most organic way to really capture that moment and have people learn and do their own homework themselves without being too preachy, without being too like, this is how you got to do it. Like, the play within itself is self-learning.
It speaks for itself.
It speaks for itself. And like, you don't want to like
you're not up there with the megaphone telling people how to live.
No.
You're just trying to give them the path of the feeling that they can evoke for themselves.
I've seen you a lightning rod just at like normal parks, not even at festivals. Like that time I brought my girls out to the park with you guys. No, not even Comfest.
Just the park, maybe like Goodale or
you just were like, we're going out to the park,
just hanging out.
We're gonna get whoever's there. And we're gonna try to pull some people in. There's no plan.
Yeah.
There was just literally like
We didn't have any music.
No, well, someone brought music eventually, right?
I think someone just brought their own little like speaker.
Yeah, there was
was not even provided by us, but just pure play.
Yeah, and there was balls there, but it was just balls. There are just a few people like that met up out there. But then next thing you know, Ron's just like, all right, everybody, let's go, follow me. He's just ended up at some like family reunion of a bunch of people just sitting in freaking lawn chairs, bro.
Popped up a parachute.
And then next thing you know, hey, come on over, guys. All these kids. Ron's over at the playground waving in like every kid from like, 4 years old to 12 to teenagers.
That's
this
awesome.
whole family reunion. Next thing you know, like all these aunts and uncles and like adults and then us and like
you're like
Mike.
You're like the anti-child catcher from Chitty Chitty
Like
Bang
I said,
Bang. Like the
there
children
was
are running towards you like
nobody
ready to
around.
put up the parachute instead of like hiding.
Yeah, and it
love
just
it.
like took a life of its own, and then next thing you know, all these strangers are just like
Having a great
cheesing out, smiling from ear to ear. Like you made their day, dude.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
That day, that was like I don't know.
You're like a parachute shaman.
They're like there's something to it. Like I've just learned.
Shoot, shaman, Ron.
Shaman shoot.
Shoe Shaman Ron.
Sham shoot.
There we go.
Shoe sham.
Shoe Sham. You know what? That's
Shoe sham Ron.
Shoe Sham Ron, dude. There we go.
The Duke of the Vibe Tribe. Shusham Ron.
Oh my gosh. I think I just found my spirit animal. I'm just like
that alias list just keeps growing.
there we go. Like
That's so funny.
I feel like there can be like a cool like video game character like into the next Tekken 7. Like
I hear a Roo Chute parachute song coming on.
there we go.
There might be a song in the works.
All right.
But with that moment, like I've learned over the years, people just need a little nudge. And a lot of people start off as like spectators and onlookers of like curiosity.
It's like, I would never jump in and do that.
They're
and
afraid
the next
to,
thing you
too.
know, there they are grabbing onto the parachute.
They're afraid to too.
Geeking
People want to
out.
feel welcome
And
to it, and he cultivates that so well.
naturally,
it's
naturally
amazing.
so. And like, so that was pre-pandemic, and pandemic has been like affecting a lot of people in so many different ways. I work in the hospital, so I live it every day. Like I'm still taking care of patients with COVID, and we're still wearing masks. And a big spark within me like has kind of like been dim because of the pandemic. And I mean, because
I think everyone did.
everyone just like
That disconnect.
the disconnect, like the whole conditioning your body of like social distancing. Like,
Oh, dude, spiritually, I was on a tear of just getting into a place. COVID happened. It's like this show has helped me reboot my path in a lot of ways. And
My battery's
I feel like
recharged.
just recently I've started to feel like where I was in 2019 with
Yeah.
just the energy and momentum
I feel
of
the
like
buzzing
doing
in the
what you're supposed to
chest
do.
and-
You know, it took everybody down a notch.
Feel more alive than when it was like full pandemic time.
and like this entire time, I'm just really, I'm really grateful for like that pause. Like it was a great pause to reflect, and a lot of people did pivots in life.
Yeah.
Right here, yeah.
Yeah. I lived it too. I mean, like it took me, let's see, 8 years almost 8 years to just finish nursing school. Like when I started doing the parachute, I'm so glad I took the path to like kind of not go into nursing school, because I can't imagine the person who I would be if I was doing school and then trying to like work full time. Like the creative energy that I had during those like formative years
Oh, yeah.
would not have happened. Like,
Yeah.
and I'll see if I can just wrap this up really quick in this thought of like being in the hospital, like as a nurse assistant, like it's a lot of humdrum. It can be like, it's very like, all right, you see a patient, you help them, you do the vitals, you do that, and then you just repeat that end on end. And in between the times, like when I first started doing Roochute, like I was literally addicted to doing like making posts, because like that's what made me happy. I'm like, all right, I'll do my job, and then like I'd get on break and I would just like make a post and stay connected to someone. All right, I'd do something and I would like dip out to the bathroom and then just like make a post. If you can imagine like how social media has evolved over the years, like it's different. It's an algorithmic game, and if you're not doing a certain formula, like you're not going to be caught within it. However, in the early days, it rewarded you if you posted more.
Right.
You're going to have that visibility. So imagine this: like for 2.5, 3 years, I posted every day.
I mean, dude, we've been
Jesus.
posting nonstop, and we just hit over 1,000 followers. It's so hard to
It
get
is so
followers on
hard.
Instagram. It's unbelievable.
And that's why I'm like, people
Like,
who are new,
you
like I have
can't
so
grow.
much cred. Yeah.
I don't even try on Twitter anymore. I'm just like, if I get a follower, cool, but like that's not my game on there. Like I don't even try.
TikTok, the organic growth, and I don't know if they just pump their numbers to make creators. Here's the difference that I've seen. Instagram has become this thing for businesses to sell products.
Yes.
We're creators.
It's a
You're a
digital
creator.
billboard. Yeah.
You're creating, you're feeding your audience with the vibe of what the Roochute, now parachute people, hey, we're out here doing this, connecting people through, like you said, you're able to find all these people through that Instagram page. I mean, how many of the volunteers did you meet from either a Bloom or maybe from like a connection, kind of how we did?
Literally all of them. I mean,
Yeah.
because
Yours is all
And don't get me
organic.
wrong, our Instagram followers are great.
Right.
And we are involved and we respond to our comments.
We're
and-
active in our social media.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. But the TikTok page, it just, you can say what you want about it, but we booted that up about a month and a half. And the comments and the algorithm works for creators much
Right.
more than, say, Instagram, where it's become more of
branded, and if
like
you're,
I'm having
It's a nonstop
a
commercial.
conversation with, let's say, for example, Burt Moran or any of the other, like Hollow Sky or Necro are chatting or
Right.
whoever, and it's asking me, is this conversation helping your business? It's like, no, dude. I'm just
trying to
podcast
socially
page,
connect with people.
trying to get out our episodes
Right.
and connect with people. And whereas TikTok's like, it wants creators on there.
Right.
And they will find that algorithm to push your stuff to the right people. And so it's a different game, dude.
What it sounds like to me, it's like, all right, and Instagram is very discouraging. TikTok is very encouraging. And like with the way how things are, just like you want to just kind of go where like you're going to be visible and you want to help grow the community. And
You don't want to spit in the wind. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You're trying to do something
We're on
for
an
a reason.
uphill battle.
Right.
You know, you look at, in our YouTube, you can dig into the analytics and you can find where people are coming to your channel from. Hardly anything comes from Instagram or really Facebook for that matter. You know,
Where the
getting people-
traffic's driving from, yeah.
So, but for you, you were able to build a community, dude.
at the time, yeah, but it took in work. So like for 2.5, 3 years, like every day for 2.5, 3 years, I posted, but not only every day, 2 to 3 posts average.
Yeah, sure.
And if
Now people get overwhelmed with multiple posts and
People
each
get
day.
overwhelmed.
It's like if you're not just posting a reel a day or
Well,
whatever.
the traffic levels increased so much. So many more creators and
So
contributors.
you were doing
and-
like 3 posts a day.
three posts a day, and this was before like Hootsuite. So like these were all posts that I was like, all right, find the right image, find the right hashtag, and
You're really crafting all
I'm
of
really
it.
crafting
Yeah.
all this stuff. And the reason why I bring that up is like I was addicted, and like that was it was a blessing and a curse because like thankfully like that's what it took to get to where we are today. But also like it just really makes you think and value like your time and attention. Like that is those two are the most like powerful currencies we have in our day. Your time and attention.
100%.
Absolutely, you can't get those back. And like, sure, you always say time is of the essence, but like the attention there, like you can be present,
Being
and do
present, yeah.
And
Absolutely.
not attentive, yeah.
and that's why that Vipassana tree was so like powerful in my life. And I really encourage anyone to check it out. And that's something that is free. It's really free. It's donation based. Like I'll tell you right now, I haven't paid back like anything. So right now it's free for me. But like it's taken me all this time to really like get up the funds because I want to make one generous like contribution. And like at the time when I was doing it, like I can't. If anyone knows like the wages a nurse assistant makes, it's not much. It's peanuts. So like now that I've become a nurse, I'm like, all right, this is the time to really like give back. And
well, there's that karmic wheel, man. You know, it doesn't always come around when everybody expects it, but it makes it around, right?
But you've almost paid the universe back from the experience that it gave you with the with the parachute people.
Sure.
And everything that you know what I mean? Like
in a way, yeah, I guess so, yeah.
And the retreat is kind of one thing to like find a cool way to pay back to the people that provided the vehicle for the experience to get you kind of to where you are now.
It's always been a part of it. I mean, ever since the very first parachute, may all beings be happy. Be happy is like the whole, like, it is the bread and butter of the parachute. And I'm just really glad it has evolved over the years and has taken less of a burden on me and like the people earlier on in the project, and now has like diffused it to the new generation of people who want to take the efforts of our mission like further. And our mission as the parachute people is to create community through play to empower personal well-being. So like we're that reminder. It's like we don't have to preach it to you to like, hey, take care of yourself. The play in itself is therapeutic.
Right. It's going to teach you through that.
And you look within, and like there's something valuable there of empowering the community. And I've been one of like the more active voices within it, but like I want to take more of a backseat role and empower like those who want the opportunity to like learn how to public speak. I've gotten so much more comfortable like talking in public because of the parachute. Like I'm not trained, but I'm like, oh, how do you? Are you a gym teacher? Or like,
no, but you're
what do you like?
You're self-taught.
I'm self-taught
through
like,
your exposure with your work.
Repetition.
Because
that's
actually, where I got all my speaking skills.
Yeah, you're with the people, and like not only just like going to a random room and then seeing people in a very vulnerable state, like doing things that normally no one wants to do, but you just like you have to connect with someone because it's going to make everyone's day go better. And also you see the humanity in people of just like
very much so.
They're like, all right, you're suffering, but I see you, and I'm not here to like give you sympathy. I'm here to provide empathy, and I'm here to like really like break down the wall. Like, let's work together here.
Yep.
Like, this may be the most uncomfortable, unpleasant day of your life, but I want to do whatever I can within this 8-12 hours here to make it less sufferable. And that's basically the goal of any meditation, is to not end suffering, but also just like being aware of the moment and not wanting to go away, but just to observe and just like remind yourself of the breath. Yeah.
Breathe. Calm yourself down, bring yourself back to, a simple focus of the breath and being present, Yeah,
there's we don't have those moments, and you don't have to go to a yoga class to just like tune out for a good 5-10 minutes.
No, it's a good daily practice.
Yeah.
To just turn off for 5, 10, 15 minutes and just, like you're saying, pay attention to your breath and just be.
It's a practice.
Yeah, you get better as you do it, right?
I'm a perpetual practitioner. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, like, speaking of, there's a breath.
There's a breath. Yeah, we all just took a breath right now. Dude, this is so awesome. Like, I think last week it was when we connected, we had been trying to work out a time and a date to, you've been busy and you're a nurse now, and kind of been trying to get a idea of when you had a day off and get you in here. And we had a couple dates, and then finally last week I called you, and I think I got you a little bit fired up.
Ooh, jazzed. I was like,
I just kept saying, like, we just got to get Ron to realize what's going on.
What we're trying to do.
Yeah. And I think if you, and then it just so happened that you have this event coming up. So we were like, dude, it's going to be perfect on Thursday.
It worked out perfectly, man. Like, it's so cool to like learn more about you, and like I know you and Bub have been like friends for years, and it's cool to see this chemistry like in person. I know I've like it's not the first time I've hung out with you guys, but like here in this setting, it's like there's something to it in the air, and like learning more about your narrative and like your kind of upbringing, like. You mentioned one time you're a cell phone salesman, but like those cell phone salesman tactics came out when you were pitching like, hey, we just got to get you in here, and I'm like, I felt that energy. I'm like, yes,
he's great.
Let me buy the top notch like run of the line cell phone right now, and it got me here in this seat. And you sold it hard, man. And
he's good.
It's great. No, but that's like it takes a certain person, certain
100%.
energy.
But I can't sell anything I'm not passionate about.
Yeah,
that's why
totally understand.
That's why I never worked out as a cell phone salesman. I like to tell everybody I'm a horrible employee. You'd never want to hire me.
This is my favorite thing he's ever said.
I'm not a good employee. Now,
no, wait.
Owner
Tell the
of
rest
a company or an entrepreneur, when it's a gig that I'm working with you and we have to show, we'll knock it out of the park. But as soon as I get on an hourly wage or a salary, I'm done.
No, wait. You said I'm showing up late.
Oh,
I'm taking a late lunch, and I'm leaving early.
And I'm leaving early. That's it, dude.
Here's the bar, and I'm setting it.
God, it was so funny. I'm a terrible employee. I remember when you first said it to me, you doubled me over. I was like, have you practiced this? Like, you need to do this in
I could do really, really well and sell, and made good money. I mean, the cell phone industry's...
Yeah, but it's hard to sell stuff you don't care about or believe in.
Back in the day,
hard.
though, you could make a living selling phones.
Sure.
And, I was in my 20s, doing pretty well, partying all the time.
I bought my first, 3 smartphones from him.
Yeah, going to festival. I mean, the first Roo was 2007, I think. So, I was selling phones during those years. My first 4 Roos from 07 to 2010.
Yep. Living downtown.
Did that, yeah. But, it's been a path. Just like you took, mine's your Vipassana yoga retreat meditation. For me, I have to do those things for myself.
Yeah,
they're checkpoints for me. So there's like the cabin trips when we used to do
recharge moments.
Yeah, exactly.
Dial back
going out into a cabin or going to a festival, getting reset. I mean, there's things at Roo that I learned. And how to connect with people on a really, really just complete strangers, whether it's people you're camping next to, building connections, and then you leave those people and you might not ever talk to them ever again. you know, with Campsite Brozone, little mini Brozone, we had a kid that, you know, grew up in kind of a bad neighborhood and never been to a festival his entire life. He's 22 years old.
I remember the story.
You know, sees ET and just somehow magnetically comes over. Hey, ET guy, what's going on? I'm like, hey, bro, what's happening? And he's like, what do you got going on here? It's like, oh, it's Campsite Brozone. You know, we're here hanging out. We're about to go to Muse. And he's like, what? So we're talking to this dude.
Campsite Brozone.
And I think we give him a beer, hang out with him. And he's like, all right, cool. And he's like, oh, can I hold ET? And then we gave him ET, and we were like, took pictures with him and ET. And then we sent him on his merry way. I'm like, I'm never going to talk to this kid ever again. You know, he's had never been in an environment like Roo where it's supportive and there's just people that are willing to help you. That's what he kept saying was like, I've gotten to some jams already. People are willing to like give you the shirt. He's like, I've never experienced anything.
Right.
This is amazing. Like you guys are just talking to me. We're all equals here. And we send him on his merry way. We go to Muse. He goes to Muse or wherever. And then, you know, we go to, I don't know, 4 or 5 more shows that night. And then we're all heading up to the Calliope stage. And it's me, Andy, Cody, and Stoner. And ET just takes off. The Calliope car starts getting pulled up to the stage. And we just, I and myself and ET, bolted towards the car being pulled up. And I lost everybody. But who was in the car? Casey.
The guy, the young kid.
Well, no, not yet. Casey and Anna.
Oh,
We're in the Calliope car already
my
with the
goodness.
DMT looking fox masks with the animal
LEDs,
masks.
yep.
And I walk up like, dude, what's up? And so I'm dancing on the car with them as it's being pulled up to the Calliope stage, and we're going nuts. I was like, hey, I lost everybody. I got to go. I just took off running when I saw the car.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys were all trying to go to bed. Bonnaroo people were in there partying.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, hey, I got to go find everybody. So I dipped down out of the car, and who's coming in the car? The kid from 7-8 hours earlier in the day that came up and was hanging out with ET.
Did you see him or did he recognize
We
you?
both stopped dead in our tracks and looked at each other. I go, you're that kid. And he goes,
Context.
he goes,
You. Been
I
looking
was
for
like,
you, kid.
you're that kid from earlier. And then I was like, then I said his name. His name is Bernard,
funny.
or gosh, what
God,
was
that's
it?
funny.
Oh my gosh, I feel so bad not remembering his name. If this would ever get out into the ether and he would see this, it'd be amazing
I'll tell
to
you this. I've
reconnect
worked with
him.
people for 16 years and I don't remember their names. It's
Yeah.
okay. It's you remember his face and you remember the moment. You'd remember each other if you saw each other.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Like he probably remembers this
whoever his
moment,
name
I'm
was,
sure.
Bernard or something. It was very like old school name, and he just screams, Mikey, E.T. So I was like, hey, bro, come on out here. Let me talk to you for a little bit. He goes, dude, I just had the best time of my life. Like meeting you guys at Little Bro Zone and then going off into the world after that. He's like, it was literally the best time ever. And so at a certain point, he just grabs ET and runs directly into the crowd, going nuts, and starts dancing with ET in the Calliope stage. And then we hung out for like another hour. Never saw that kid ever again. But what are the chances that I run into him on the car at the Calliope stage where Casey and Anna and a bunch of those folks were already up there? I mean,
slim to none because Bonnaroo is so huge.
It's so big,
and when
dude.
it's so dark, really, like you're only attracted to things that are glowy and you're
Yeah,
things
yeah.
That, or like iconic things like
well,
ET.
they had the fox masks and those crazy, amazing masks that those guys all had that year.
Yeah, I cannot wait. Then that's the type of energy and fun that's coming to Columbus like this weekend and tonight. But yeah, it takes an environment like a music festival or just Bonnaroo for this instance to like have that open-mindedness and really just kind of shed a huge layer that society's put on you, and then have that raw form of
By Saturday,
humanity.
you're in it.
You're in it.
By Friday, you're still shedding a little bit. By Saturday, like the evolution of Bonatron is how it always goes back to that, because you can see the stage of ET on Thursday coming in.
It's like getting into a hot tub slowly.
ET Saturday night, the difference of the
full on. Yeah, you're up to your head and shoulders. Like,
but you're going through that too. You're going through that as well. Next thing you know, you got a LED pink glow hat on, or you've got like LED shades, or whatever you come across. You've got a glow stick vest that somebody made for you.
And this personal growth that I've just been so attracted to and just like drawn to over the years, like it all goes back to the mothership, and the mothership is Woodstock, and like just like those sorts of festivals from the late '60s. And you mentioned the Hog Farm and the Trip Sitters over there, like Wavy Gravy and the Merry Pranksters and
Kesey,
Ken Kesey, and all of that. I was just brushing up on some factoids, and just like it reminds me, like I feel like I'm carrying on the spirit of the Merry Pranksters.
There you go.
I've joked around with Wilkie about this. Like we're like a modern day Merry Pranksters, like
100%.
Parachute people, all of the people that are just trying to like perpetuate the whole good vibe sort of thing without being too woo woo. It's like, hey man, like that's what we're all about. Like you pay it forward. I mean, the Hog Farm literally we're there to kind of like babysit people having bad trips and
harm reduction.
The amount of times that I've come up, and I don't really have a big platform to promote this, but like with your audiences, they would understand. Like I've had dozens of people over the years come up to me, or my people saying like, hey man, I really needed this, and I knew what they meant, and you can just look in their eyes, they're not having a good time.
Sure.
Or people like explicitly saying like, hey man, I was having a bad trip, someone gave me bad stuff, and like literally like you snapped me out of it.
You helped write the course.
I was spiraling. I was like, I lost my friends, I couldn't do this and that, and like I didn't invite that, the parachute did, but like it's the people there that are attracting people that are feeling lost, and just like
some of my favorite memories,
just resetting. That's all
you're like the festival life raft.
Some of my favorite
parachute people can be that,
memories at festivals are helping people through tough spots. I mean, we get a lot of comments on, like, I wore my Lost Lands hoodie on the show when it was like actually really cold over the winter. Lots of comments on the Lost Lands hoodie, but me and TJ running Jib for those years out at Lost Lands, being in a cage essentially surrounded by the festival goers. I mean, you're out there. I mean, I've helped people, we're sober, and helping people that are on a bad trip or took too much L or took too much Molly or whatever it is, and they just like need somebody to talk to. And so those are some of my favorite memories of like running into someone like that just needed somebody to be like, it's okay. Yeah. You're going to be fine. In an hour or two, you're going to be having the best time of your life.
Yeah. Get a slice of pizza.
I'm going to put my arm around you. I'm going to ground you. We're going to talk. And, an example of the workout festival one year, shooting video, this guy just comes up out of nowhere. His eyes are just, wide open. He looks lost. I was like, hey, buddy, how you doing? Come on over, hang out. I was like, did you take too much acid? And he just stared at me and went like this. I was like, all right, come on over here. You're good. Sit on the picnic table. Doesn't say a word the entire time. An hour goes by. He looks at me, gets up, looks at me, shakes his head, and just walks away. Like, I'm good now. Thank you. And that's just all it took was, hey, buddy, you want to hang out with us? And he didn't contribute or talk to anybody. He just needed to get grounded. And, he probably had a great rest of his night.
You mentioned this key word and this buzzword that I love and gravitate towards, harm reduction. And that goes a long way with, if you're in a community like that, like a little can go a long way with just knowing how to be preventative and be aware of signs, and also knowing what to do if it is around. There are definitely things not to do, but
people take too much. They don't understand, like, more anything does not equal more fun. I tell people that all the time. Number one, set and setting. Put a focus on what you're trying to accomplish, if nothing else. But, more does not equal more fun, ever, when it comes to psychedelics. And just people get bad information. You know, they're not guided through in a positive way, which is why, you know, using psychedelics in a therapeutic setting, you know, in 10, 15 years, there might not be that many people that are using psychedelics at festivals and recreationally. You know,
it's going to be microdosed in, like
the whole paradigm shift.
It's part of wellness. It's already. I don't know if you know this, but like Bub, like you in the medical community, like there's ketamine clinics that you go in and they treat depression. Like actually, a friend of mine, he just sold his practice in Miami. And he's part of like a community where he presented at a conference. This is a physician, have you? Dr. Kazi Hazan, like down in Miami. Like he's part of a practice where they brought in Mike Tyson to talk about like the benefits of like psychedelics and like the therapeutic effects.
Toad.
Yep,
he's a big toad kind of
guy. Yeah, and
5-MeO DMT.
Like this is like it's crazy to think that like it's taken all this time, but like we've all known that MDMA, like or at least those in the community know that MDMA is really tapped into patients who have suffered from PTSD.
Yeah.
And if done in the right setting, it can really have a lot of benefits. But people are trying to self-medicate at festivals and take too much or not know anything and like not have like the parameters of set and setting, or at least they don't have anyone within their group that knows about this.
Now, if you're with the trying to go to bed Bonnaroo folks and it's the first time that you let loose you're going to be fine. You're in good hands. You know, with the whole group of all those people.
These are people that care, and they know that whether they partake or not.
And you go to Roo by yourself, it's your first time, and you're there with 2-3 people, and you're not connected, and all of you guys are having a bad trip. It's just not a good time.
And honestly,
that day,
I really hope and think that there should be a paradigm shift within festivals to not turn a blind eye. There has to be some sort of like recognition.
People walk right by people having bad trips all the time. It's like, oh, you know, they're more supportive at Electric Forest and Roo, and I mean there are, but most of the time people don't know what to do. They're just like, oh damn, like. And
like festivals have been historically a countercultural movement, but like now it's been more in the mainstream. But we should take what we learn in the counterculture and take it to the everyday. Like, all right, if people party like in a non-festival setting, like you can still apply. Like, all right, if you see someone that's off, like these are things to do, or like knowing how you can help and step in without being intrusive, or just like you could save a life, and like you could help out like a stranger in need.
That's right.
Yeah. But thank you so much for having me here.
Dude, this has been a blast.
Like another breath moment. Like this has been really cool. Like, and
how long have we been going? I don't even know what time it is.
Look at all of this. Like Ron Father stepped in. Like all of these.
We got
people
some
here.
family in here. That's for sure.
It's been really nice to kind of see and have this opportunity. I really hope this is the first of many. I mean, like, I would love to be in, and like I think when you pitched it, like I would love to just be the how did I put it?
Rotating co-host. When like I can't come in and you hop in with Bub.
Yeah,
I'm on vacation.
Do a special edition, and I think like one of the episodes we're like, hey, let's do an homage episode to Chris Farley, and I'm like, yeah, dude.
You want in on that?
I'm here to be
let's do it.
I'm a pop culture fiend, man. I love anything. We'll do a deep dive.
Strange pop culture.
Dude.
Strange pop.
We do that on every episode.
We'll make a bag of special popcorn, like back in the day, that show where they used to have different colored bags of popcorn, like blue and green and orange. We'll do strange pop in the
I think that
movie
we just
night.
birthed the Parish of People popcorn. I love a good alliteration. So we'll just do some red, yellow, blue, green food dye, and then just like that can be a little centerpiece, and then we can work backwards from the Chris Farley filmography. We'll start off with his last film, Almost Heroes, and then go back and do
Coneheads and
oh man, you're going early. Like before that, but working backwards, got Black Sheep, we got Tommy Boy, Coneheads, Ronnie.
Yeah, dude, we talk about Coneheads a few times on this show.
he is one of my favorite Ron additions. Like there's Ronnie from Coneheads, there's Ron Swanson, there's Ron Burgundy, there's Ron Weasley. Those are. anytime I'm at a festival, like, what's your name? Ron. Like, what? Ron, like Swanson. Like, like Ron, like Burgundy. Like, Ron
Too chill
Burgundy.
Ron, bro.
Too chill Ron, bro. And
That's
that's
a
why,
great name.
and that's why I love the Bro Zone. It was only a matter of time before our orbits collided here on the studio set.
Yeah,
For sure.
Our worlds collided. The Bro Zone in the shoot.
It'll happen again, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Oh, dude.
this has been really cool, and I would love to be the Andy Richter to your Conan O'Brien. That was the reference.
Nice.
Let me be the couch potato.
Oh, man.
I'll add the colorful commentary. So,
Oh my god, dude.
dude, big ups to the Strange Road. I am a true hitchhiker now. Like I'm.
Word, man. Hell yes.
I've not only drank the Kool-Aid, I've chugged it. I've funneled it.
When did the
Kool-Aid.
moment really hit? Was it while you were sitting here and you like took that second, you were looking around and kind of putting it all together? Because I know that moment. I had the same thing happen where I was like, "What
He
is
did
happening
during
while we're
DA,
doing this?"
The Dogman episode.
Because we got the screens here where it's like we had their
Yeah.
face there. So when I'm talking to him, but Mike's looking where you're looking. He's talking to him too. So like, there's just this moment where I was like, "What the hell is actually happening here?"
That was the solidifying moment. The collective moments was actually just coming in here, and like you said, like I've been trying to squeeze this time in. So I took a nap here in this very cozy studio before everything.
You look
and,
very comfy.
Ricky's beanbag chair.
in Ricky's beanbag chair over there, and I'm so stoked for any guest that gets to come on and like get to like experience this whole little cozy setup. It was that moment, and then just seeing the studio before as you were coming in and like doing like the countdown. This place is very professional, and it's really cool to see your ideas that you've been talking about ever since the pandemic really manifest. So I'm really proud of you, Mikey. I'm really proud of you, Bub, and Stoner
and
back
Stone,
there,
yeah.
and just like in Roa and all this beautiful artwork here. Like,
Absolutely.
it's incredible for it to come together, and like you have to just be here to experience it. And shout out to everyone listening to us ramble. Like, this is
Super blessed, man.
it's
We're
cool.
blessed.
Time and
It's
attention is
fun.
very important, and I'm like, it's cool that you guys care about what we're talking about, or at least hopefully get a laugh. I mean,
yeah.
we all could use a laugh.
Oh yeah. I hope we give people some laughs during this because I feel like I'm stealing if not because I laugh the whole time.
Oh yeah.
I can't help it, man. Like Mike, you were saying we've known each other a long time. We used to fight over who got to sit next to Mikey at movies that were funny because Mike would start laughing and he would like fire you up more. So like everybody would want to sit next to Mike at any of the funny films we went and saw as kids, like Dumb and Dumber for Jared Hess's birthday.
Yep.
There was definitely a battle over where that seating chart was going to be. Like more than my wedding, I cared more about where I was sitting at Dumb and Dumber than where guests sat at my wedding. I was legit dedicated to that film once we got there. But no, it's been a great afternoon, uplifting episode of just like feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm running off of like a power nap, like as you said, like
Yeah.
I'm like 3 hours of sleep, but this energy right now is going to be perfect for what I'm about to go into, like
Yeah.
sharing more of like the Parachute People story and like what we plan on doing. So if anyone listening is in the Columbus community or even just out there in the continental United States and want to get involved, come check us out on Instagram. We're the Parachute People. And you'll see this live thread, and like you can reach out to any of the people in the YouTube comments. Like Sean Wilkie is like probably #1 supporter, fanboy, like extraordinaire. He is the coolest human being ever, and like he is someone that's keeping me lifted. I mean, like there are people out there behind the scenes that like, I'm sure with any passion project, they see you go and they're the cheerleader, and like they will sit you down to be like, hey man, like, I know you're doing a lot of great things in the world, but like, hey, how are you doing? Who checks in the people that checks in with other people? And Sean Wilkie's that person. And you've been that person for me. And like,
what a linchpin.
I mean, we had a worlds collide that year. We met Sean with you at Bonnaroo. We connected right away.
Oh, it's only a matter of time.
We were just like thick as thieves. I think we went everywhere together. Mm-hmm. It was it's a nexus.
There are people
Glue.
out there.
It's glue.
Yeah.
Sean's a glue guy.
You and
holds
him
a lot of things together.
Would be very similar then. I could hang out with 2 Mikeys.
That'd be annoying.
Imagine if you had a twin.
No, can't.
No.
Can't imagine. No. It always makes me think of the line from Fearing and Loathing in Las Vegas when Benicio del Toro's getting on the plane, and Johnny Depp's like, there he goes, some kind of strange mutant, too rare to multiply, but too strange to die. Like, whatever the line is, I'm butchering, but I feel like that. Like, there can't be two of me. I couldn't deal with myself. I have a tough time dealing with my own self. So if there was two of me, I couldn't do it.
Here's some great photos of the parachute in action.
That's awesome.
And honestly, like
this going live
that's
right
not
now?
me, but that has been me before.
Yeah.
And that's this one is at Okeechobee. This was right before we had a free pizza party. This one here, can't make that up. Is that
Quill?
Oh, that one. I think that was at here in
Breakaway.
Columbus at Breakaway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not only that we bring parachutes, but we also promote free pizza parties. Oh, look at that. Wow. It's almost like it was planned. But
Santa Ron. Dude, I was at Krongbin the first time I saw them, and you went running by me in a Santa Claus hat that time. You remember that?
oh, dude.
You came dancing in like Santa Claus to Krongbin, and I was like, Ron?
Is that
Dude,
the time you passed out in the
Newport.
crowd?
No,
Oh, different.
that
time.
was at
Krongbin
Express
last year.
Krongbin at Kembra.
It's a matter of like, all right, how can you elevate a parachute experience? Like, because I
Look at
mean,
that,
it doesn't
dude.
get any better
Being
than to have a
underneath
parachute.
That parachute is
Pizza
so
party
fun.
under
Pizza
a
party
parachute.
under a parachute, just like, and it's free pizza, and it's just like, let's keep on doing this. And
Yeah,
like,
you're not wrong.
shout out to Pizza Nova at music festivals everywhere. At Shaky Knees, when
Yeah.
you saw us, Pizza Nova hooked it up. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
they
You had like
gave-
a stack.
we had
That's
like,
a great
we had a
shot.
dozen.
Did Stoner, did you take that photo?
Stoner did take
That's
that
a
photo.
Stoner
That-
original.
That
That's
is a
gotta be.
Stoner wide shot sunset at
such
what
a
stage?
beautiful- That's
And that is-
2017.
That's 2017. That's the Think Kindly
Yeah.
and Boldy shoot
Yeah.
that was at U2 that year.
Now this was at
Oh, that was at
what show was this?
it's a sweaty man.
Moon something.
Not seasons change.
Future Islands?
Future Islands.
Is that it?
Either Future Islands or
They're from North Carolina. It would be Future Islands.
Yeah.
gosh, I love my pop culture friends. Know a little bit about everything.
Uh-huh.
That is a beautiful moment. Like, it's
It was sunset bloom.
the sunset blooms are just incredible. And so that's Patrick saying his thing and just sharing like the importance of just community and like he has this line where he says like, all right, I need you to do three things. This is your homework. All right, drink water. Yeah, stay hydrated. Second thing is give someone a high five, just like pay it forward. And, and the last one he wraps up with is like, when you can think about it, call your mother.
Yeah.
Call your mom.
Mom's important.
And I'm just like, or call someone you love, call a parent, just like, hey, just thank them. And I'm just like, you know what?
Cool.
That is a cute thing. Like, you know what? Everyone has their little moment of like trying to like, just, you know what? Be kind to someone else. And that's exactly what the parachute people do. Just like, life is too short here on this earth. And like, it takes a beautiful parachute to kind of remind you that to cherish every moment. Like, you're not gonna have any other time.
That's a great shot.
Choose Kindness 2015. This was that was the early years.
God,
man.
it makes me want to go to Roo. Look, campsite bro zone
Would have been like
What is
literally
like
50 yards back.
50 yards
Yeah,
from
yeah, for
where this
sure.
was.
For
We were
sure.
so far up front.
Yeah, that was like the nice. It was a labor of love to get up there because I was a nurse at the time, so my sleep schedule was all jacked up. And when we got there, I was up like 24 hours straight.
Yeah,
We had driven down. We're dragging the wheelbarrow and the not wheelbarrow, but the
Wagon?
the
The
wagon
wagon.
and all of our shit. And we're getting up there, and I'm just delirious. And I wake up that evening, and Mike's like, Bub, get up. Come on, it's time. I'm like, what? And it was like Wolfpack was on and Borns was playing that night.
It
And
was
I like
Floozies,
crawl out of my
Wolfpack.
tent. Oh, Floozies.
Right
That was
in a
the
row.
first one.
That was
Floozies.
Floozies
Wolfpack.
was awesome.
in the
it was
same state that is
yeah.
under that tent.
It was a smaller
tent, yeah.
stage. It
Yeah.
was fantastic.
It's the one in the way back. It's this.
So you
tent.
were saw. Yeah, it is this tent. Yeah, because that tent
Fantastic.
is near the opening stage
Yep.
right there.
Yep.
So if you're at Wolfpack, you saw the parachute come out.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't remember.
par- 100%.
The parachute crowd surfed during.
Yes.
We came waiting for the moment, and sure enough, the wizard was behind this one too. Just as you two, he was like, "We're gonna take it to Wolfpack, and we're just gonna pop it in the crowd." And there is a video on YouTube where it's just like the singer Antoine Stanley just breaks down and just points out points at the parachute. Yo, that's love. That's love. And that was Patrick's way of saying hi to his old friend because him and Antoine went to school together in Michigan.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
They were both in the singing department. And
That's cool.
And it's like, it's
Yeah,
little
that-
moments of magic that just like, you know what, people remember that. Just kind of like, oh, wow, I was under a parachute, a big rainbow parachute, listening to the best jazz fusion ever.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to Wolfpack,
Check them out.
check them
I don't know if you knew
Genius.
this, but the promos I was doing for Instagram, I chose a Volpec song, a Floozy song,
I heard the
and a Big Wild song. Just
see?
for you, bud.
Dude, I heard the Wolfpack one, and that, honestly, like, with my nursing schedule, it's like, and also, I hate the Instagram algorithm. You don't see
Yeah.
things that are not, unless you check the bell, subscribe, do that right now as I did with The Strange Road, like notifications,
Yeah.
like posts, reels.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the only way you'll see it
We
because
feel
in
like a
sensory
broken
overload,
record sometimes trying to tell people, hey, you want to know when we go live that, you know.
that's literally the only way. And you just
Right.
hear little things like that because I'm a big ADHD
I've
kind of
used
kid, so.
I've
Right.
lost the thrill
100%.
of telling people how to find us. Like honestly, I was like, oh, you know where to find it. Now it's like, you know where to find us. Just hit
Yeah,
that
we're
note.
kind of like an esoteric
like,
channel
bro.
you've got to look into.
Yeah, the Strange
You'll
Road.
find your way here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll work out. But hit that notification bell. It does help.
Yeah.
there you go.
It does
Yep,
help.
and we would appreciate it. We just like to get some more eyes and comments on stuff to know also what these guys and gals are thinking in the chat sometimes of like their experiences, because there's a lot of like referential. I'm seeing things tick off while you guys are talking sometimes, or like people are like, oh, that was awesome, putting that parachute. You're like, that shared experience is happening there as well, which is so much fun. Like to watch that just go kind of crazy and add so much to the show.
And like you going to Wolfpack and doing, like I had to force Bub to get up.
I was
like, dude,
so tired.
You don't it's Thursday night, right? It was
could
Thursday
not
night.
wake
It
up.
was
like,
Thursday
bro,
night. It
this
was
is rude.
early.
Thursday night. You have to
8:30,
get up.
almost 9 at night.
You
I
have
could
to
not
come
get
with
up.
me. You're not missing this.
Yeah,
And
you
then
drugged me out of that tent.
After that, you're like, all right, I'm going back to the tent, going to bed. I'm like, bro, you don't go to bed. Nobody
so
goes.
tired.
Nobody goes to bed though. You gotta stay-
Literally, just you know, when your battery is
Yeah.
tapped,
But the Friday night, and Saturday night, you were like totally
ready to go.
re-energized.
Calliope stage still that night was, I think, Thursday, because we still stayed. Once I got the hint that like it wasn't
this
going to
nap
turn
doesn't
off,
end.
then I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll sleep whenever I sleep. I don't need to like prep for tomorrow.
No,
But I
and if
didn't
you
wanna
sleep
miss
till
shows
2
the next
o'clock
day I was
or 1
ready
o'clock,
for.
Then you just got to get your rest.
Yeah, you gotta listen to your body when you can because there's
That
gonna be so
first-
much stimulation.
That first Bonnaroo, I couldn't have picked a better lineup for myself. I had Tame Impala. I had
That was
Lucius.
great.
I had Father John Misty. I
Borns?
had Band of Horses. I had Borns. I had Wolfpack. I had Floozies.
Mm-hmm.
I
M83.
had M83. Was Churches there too?
Churches was there.
I saw
That was a wild
Third Eye
one, though.
Blind, Raylan Baxter, Brett Denon.
Gosh, Raylan Baxter.
God, who else? Two Door Cinema Club.
Paramore.
Father John Misty dying laughing during a song as a blow up doll was being crowd served. Him breaking character of Father John Misty at a show was awesome because he was like, he couldn't, you know, I always think of him as like a Elton John and Jim Morrison combined, like this very depressed, very prolific musician and common, you know,
He has
writer.
got that gym vibe.
Yeah.
He does.
But to see him just laugh and get that levity to his kind of like, you know, very,
He's like a very
Morose, sort of just
yeah,
kind of like.
yeah, it was just cool to see him
It's like
break.
a jaded character of society.
It's one of the best shows
He
I've
is-
been to.
Pinnacle, like just like pretentious hipster. Like,
Oh,
kinda
yeah.
like, and just he knows it, and that's like his like persona. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is what I sing about.
We saw him at the Palace Theater or the Howe Theater. I can't remember which one downtown here. One of the most amazing shows I've ever seen. The presence of mind of stage presence and aesthetic and vibe being transferred from what you're doing. It's like how I always say, like there are certain musicians who are great at playing music. Their show might not be that interesting. They might not do a lot or their lights aren't great, but their music's very powerful and that's their side. And then there are other performers that maybe they're not the world's greatest musician, but they're great at putting on a great show and having enough music that they know that entertainment level. And I go, and then there's Pink Floyd, and then there's Tame Impala, and there are these bands that give you just, it can stop you in your tracks, songs, but when they know that they can take you on that ride with the visual and the engagement as well, and they get that full wizardry of a show and take you on that ride, that's when it's like, I'm in.
Speaking of Wizardry of the show, like my favorite all-time back-to-back Bonnaroo setlist moment was the Bonnaroo 2016. It was M83 at which stage playing probably at 1 o'clock in the morning, like late night, followed by Tame Impala. So
The
imagine
Tame Impala show was amazing.
it was incredible.
Giving me goosebumps right now
Yeah.
thinking about that.
There was like, there was a at Bonnaroo, and especially Bonnaroo, there's like you can tag and spray paint the walls leading up, and like one of them that year famously said it was like listening to Tame Impala is like drinking a psychedelic milkshake. I'm like, yes,
That's pretty good.
Thank you to whoever said that, because that year that's what it felt like, and I knew personally that I wanted to be at that set, and I was going to bring the parachute there. So we had the parachute out for M83. Was waving, and then like Midnight City came on, and then definitely popped it out during that, and had like a group of people just like chilling under the background, and like it's cool to see like little memories and just like shaky footage of like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And then you get like a half an hour reset, and then you get your mind absolutely rocked by Tame Impala
At the late show.
At the late show.
How about when
it
they
went
left
till
the
3
stage?
o'clock in the
It
morning.
went to 3 o'clock, but it seemed it was so late, but it was so short. It was like, man, I thought it was going to
went
get
by, like,
more.
2 hours.
Do you remember when they left the stage? How they do it? They turn on all the fog machines, all the confetti, and then they leave, and they have like
It
this
was-
noise,
it was static noise.
taping out.
Yep.
But then they have like it basically. The way I think of it is like they're almost simulating like a UFO coming down and abducting the band back. Is when the show ended, because like the lights start going nuts and the lasers and the noise that was
reverb,
like
it was just- yeah.
The reverb. I mean, that was very fitting, because that year they had like what looked like just it was a black screen, and it was an oscilloscope.
Yo, yeah,
It was-
it was super simple.
It was super simple, and I'm like, you know what? That's
and they
so
were
brilliant.
shining to the band. The band was in front of the projector. It was very, very simple. Like
Very, very simple, very effective. It's like
effects.
very like, and you just realize how pleasing it is. Just like simple white confetti is just like for the right moments, and you got 2 big doses of just like moments of just like confetti blasting in your
Yeah.
face as just
Well,
like
same at
Australian
Shaky Knees.
psychedelia. Yeah.
At Shaky Knees, though, I'll tell you what blew me away at that freaking show. They did Elephant, right?
Oh, classic.
So they rock and the crowd's all into it. I think they were the Sunday night like headliner. Like they ended Shaky Knees. And so he's going all and he gets the Elephant solo, right? And they have him up on the Jumbotron. But when they show his eyes on the Jumbotron, when he was looking out, they were like shooting these giant high-powered like light lasers onto the crowd. Like he had like laser eyes up on the stage. I don't know if you remember that or still have it. I was watching it in the audience at the time going like, I don't under he's
is
on
Kevin
another
Parker
level.
doing?
He's on another level. That's what I'm saying. Like the engineering of the show while also just making music that I could just stand alone on the music. I don't know that I'm not saying I don't need the show, but what I'm saying is he's got that full picture of like
he's obsessed.
it's a full
It's a
on
package.
show.
Yeah. It's a
but
whole
he is
experience.
very
Stage
attention
design,
to
everything.
detail. He's an obsessive person.
Right.
Everything's perfect. The
Yeah.
sound, the visuals. Like
Yeah.
he is
one of my favorites.
writes all the music, records all the music, has a band tour with him.
It
But
took
he literally he's
He is
like
Tame
Beck
Impala. Yeah.
or Kishibashi or
Kishibashi, nice one.
He's
Yeah.
great too,
remember
isn't he?
remember I put on Kishibashi in the campground and trying to go to bed, Bonnaroo camp that one day
Dude, synthesized.
when we
yeah.
were slapping the bag at
We-
like 10 a.m.
We first saw
listening to
Kishibashi on Mike's bachelor trip.
Yeah, that was
He was
crazy.
playing as an accompanying musician in of Montreal.
Yeah.
And we saw him at the Living
He came out
Theater of
and
Arts
rapped.
in Philadelphia.
He rapped.
That was his music thesis.
In
Just
a
the tip.
all white tux
Yeah.
and rapped. We had no clue that he played
He
violin
did
or
he did a
sang.
rap like an Indian rap.
It was crazy, dude.
It was his music thesis.
Yeah.
And we were like, who the hell is this guy? Years later, I'm reading a Paste magazine article and I see this name Kishibashi and I'm going, that guy looks like the violin player from up Montreal, is it? Started
Yeah.
putting the two pieces together and I was like,
So he's of Montreal.
he was like just a
He would
touring
tour with them.
piece.
He would
Touring
tour
piece.
with
Because
them during
Kevin
that time.
Barnes of Montreal is of Montreal. Kevin Barnes writes every piece, instrument, vocal, writes it, records it, gets a band and tours with them.
Incredible.
Tame Impala, Beck, that's how they all do it. It's one person.
Kishibashi is probably one of my favorite people I've ever just stumbled upon. Like he opened up for an artist here in Columbus, and I met him at the Newport. Kindest dude ever, and he's one of the very few like autographs that I've.
What show was it? Because I think I was at that.
It was probably
Him and Guster.
it was Guster. Yeah,
I was
it
at that show because I took a picture with him because I wore the shirt I bought at the Cleveland show, and he was coming back from the bathroom and getting a whiskey because he likes a whiskey, right? And I was like, "Hey, man," he's like, he's tired. He's like, "Man," he like starts doing this. I said, "I don't want anything from you. I just want to take a picture with you." And I unzipped my jacket, and he saw the shirt, and he went, "I wear that shirt to bed every night. I love that T-shirt." And he's like, "Yeah, I'll take a picture with you."
So it's like more. Yeah, it's like this is the true fan moment.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because like you don't want to fanboy too hard, and like,
No.
you just played a set. That was like 2016, 2017.
Yeah, I gave him a hacky sack at A&R Bar. I was following him on Twitter, and he put out like a message like, "Does anybody have a hacky sack? I'm on tour." And I was like, so I found his like tour manager's like, "Here, he put this out. Here you go." Because like we've ran into him in the airport in Miami accidentally. Me and my wife missed our flight back from Costa Rica. We get rerouted to Miami. I'm upset because I had a show to do when I was in Bright Night, Alaska. So I had to get back. I had things to do. So we're at this airport in Miami waiting, trying to get our flight changed over. We're on layover. And this dude goes walking by. And at first it's like, man, he kind of looked like Kishibashi. And I'm like, that's not him. And then I looked at him again. And I saw his backpack. And he had this little violin backpack. And I went, holy shit, that's Kishibashi. And I go, Kim, is that Kishibashi? And she's like, I think so. I was like, go ahead. I like ran down. I just said his name. He turned around. I was like, just want to know it was you. I had to make sure I wasn't, having a what is it? Doppelganger
moment.
Yeah. But he's a super nice guy. She actually ran into him in
doppelganger shout out episode.
She ran into him in the bookstore in the shop and just, letting people know you appreciate their work is the only thing I want to do. I don't want anything from you. You don't have to autograph, nothing. I just want to let you know how much you affect and impact me and make a positive change for me. If I put on his albums, and it's like the nicest like little nugget you find back because until Mike just said his name right now, I'd have been like, I haven't listened to that for so long.
so glad you
Once a
mentioned
year,
that.
I'll put Kishibashi on just to remind myself how incredible.
Stoke the fire.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially the album.
The first one?
No.
Is it the
Are
one?
you talking about Philosophize It,
Yeah,
Chemicalize It?
Not synthesizer, philosophize
What's
it.
the
That's a
album
great
called,
one.
I can picture the artwork because it looks very like Renaissance.
Oh,
like.
it's Kishibashi Liite,
That's it.
like Lighhhht or however he spelled it. Yeah, he spelled it really funny. He's just he's a deep thinker. He writes very interesting music. He has such an extraordinary vocal
The stories he
range
tells.
and that too.
They're
but
like these long. It's kind of
he's like a violin virtuoso. It's like Andrew Bird, but Andrew Bird's, doing Andrew Bird, which him and Kishi are totally different in their stylistic approach to
the loop pedals stuff
Yeah,
that they do.
well, they do-
is
yeah.
very similar.
Yeah, the techniques and methods to make the music, but the overall,
Yeah.
like even Andrew Bird, dude, like that's a wild show to go to. Like that guy is deep into it. Like he's in his own world playing that
He's
stuff. Like,
prolific. He has like 20, 30 albums.
yeah,
Like it's crazy, that dude.
and that whistle. If I could whistle like that, man, I don't even know if I'd play violin. I might just work on the whistle. It's got just the best whistle ever. His name is so spot on. Anyhow, otherwise,
Are you speaking of all this music and like this is the type of like talk that I love trying to get into, like when you explore music festival lineups, like I would not have known how awesome Andrew Bird is without these little like talking piece moments and like are you guys gonna be going to any music festivals this year?
I'd like to go to Secret Dreams
So tell
at
what
Legend Valley.
secret that's in August, right?
Yeah, they're combining like the workout with that in a way. It's like STS9, Tipper. It's a lot more jam on the lineup, and then Papadozio and the Works, and but yeah, just something local. Like I would love to go to Roo or like go big, but
yeah,
it's kind of tough.
I was going to go
Stone's
to Roo.
going to Roo.
I was
Andy's
going to go to Roo.
Yeah,
I don't know if I could swing both, but
Cavern Show with
Stone had some extra tickets pop up for Gizzard for the Cavern show.
If I could see King Gizzard this summer, and that might be, I'd be super happy if
I'm
I
doing
saw
that.
Gizzard.
I'm doing
at
2
least
nights.
once. Last year I had Tame Impala, My Morning Jacket, and King Gizzard. Those were the three. I was like, if I see those 3 bands on tour, I'm gonna be super happy.
Yeah, I
can
missed the Tame
not
show.
do it, and I went to all 3, and it was incredible.
The gods were against me that night because it rained so much. Had the
Yeah.
show been on time, I
went
could have
with
made
Disbro,
it. Yeah,
to Tame
I didn't
Impala,
see
and
it.
we stood in the rain, dude, for I don't know 2 hours trying to get in my Patagonia.
Oh,
But good,
speaking of
good
shows,
music would do that to you. They'll make you
Yeah.
wait, and I was like, that's
tomorrow
worth it.
It
we're
was
going
rough.
to Pittsburgh to go see Lucius.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there you go. That
Dude,
was.
they're fire. I don't know if you've checked them out before, but
Didn't they play?
they played at Bonnaroo
yeah,
that first year.
26
They had the
yeah.
matching like crazy outfits and the vocals. So that's another crazy one. A girl I used to work with. I remember when I was really into Lucius when they first came out with Wilder Woman, their first album with the the chick eating the ice cream cone and the cartoon. And
We shot them at the Newport.
Yeah.
In that album.
girl I work with was like, finally started digging into him. It's about a year later. She goes, "Oh, I went to high school with the guy that plays guitar in that band." Like just all these weird, 6 degrees of separation type stuff where like I learned from my old roommate how to hunt music myself. What I mean is like I never wanted to listen to the radio. How do I find good music? Like Stoner does it too. We go to KEXP to watch a lot of live shows of indie bands, NPR, Tiny Desk concerts. Where do you find some of these, unknown mortal orchestra bands? Like that's one of my favorite band names, Unknown Mortal Orchestra. It's such a great name. But you go on KXP, you go on Paste Magazine, or they used to actually have magazines they sent in the mail. And Paste Magazine, if you subscribed,
Paste
would
was
send you
awesome.
the magazine, and every month it gave you a sample CD of like 16 tracks, and then they covered them. And so you could sit there and kind of like learn how to read about a review of a musician. What does it mean when you say they're a new age jazz fusion metal? What does it mean if they're this title or that? Or if you can't categorize them, how do I take what you're telling me about the show and interpret and know I want to listen to it, or if I should go down that road rather than going, the radio just feeds you what you should listen to. The television just programs it for you. Finding your own music is like going on Netflix and deciding if you want to watch
Now
that
it's
show or
just
not.
Spotify recommendations and
fed
But
to
their
you.
algorithm is pretty on point.
Yeah, it's on point.
I'm not gonna lie.
I would agree.
The
It
Spotify
It feeds
algorithm
me a lot of
is
stuff that I
amazing.
like, De La Soul, and
It's
a lot of
amazing.
stuff I'm like Melody. You ever heard of Melody?
No.
We'll put on some Melody after
Is it
we
like
wrap
is
this
it like
up.
De La Soul, like a early '90s hip hop vibe, or
No, it's more like almost like an Odessa vibe.
Down with
Sorry,
Odessa.
I meant Soul Rising De La Soul. Soul Rising Melody. I've been into I don't know, like happy EDM with kind of like that Odessa vibe, but a little bit more. It's just a little different, but
Yeah, I've been finding
and
a
that's
lot
all
of
from
bands.
Spotify.
A lot of bands with the Mike Snow vibe, and what I mean is that
Yeah.
kind of like warble voice, like the dog voice, the like whoa, like where they distort
Yeah.
that. I'm drawn to that type of music. I don't know
Mike
what it
Snow
is
was
about
way
it.
ahead of its. That band was way
Mike
ahead of
Snow's
its
so good. Do you know how long it took me to find that name?
because of the
Miike.
M.I.K.E..
My
Is-
God,
Is it Mike? Is it Mike? That was
Mike
me and my
Snow
fr-
is a band. The band name.
it's not a guy.
It's not a guy. Yeah, it's
Just the name of a
it's
band.
The name of the band.
Those guys were like
Just
pop
like-
writers. They wrote "Toxic" for Britney Spears.
They're huge.
It's like the
Swedish
reverse of
producers.
Tame Impala. Like Tame Impala is Kevin Parker, and it's just. And I
So-
always thought it was like Mike Snow.
When Kevin Parker like got his contract and signed that band and everything, the record label, from his perspective, he didn't tell them he was a singular entity. So they didn't know for a long time, and they started touring. And he got this band together, right? So these guys would be on tour, and interviewers for journals and newspaper outlets and Rolling Stone, whatever, would be like, "Hey man, that bass line and this song, like, what was the inspiration for that?" And his bass player's like, couldn't say anything. Like he didn't want them to because he was afraid the label would dump him. And he was very self-conscious. Obviously, you're young and you get this record label, so it wasn't for a while that even like his own record label knew that he was Tame Impala. And then the funniest thing was this journalist asked him once, why don't you collaborate with anybody else in your band as Tame Impala? He goes, "I'm not trying to be mean, but I am Tame Impala. If anybody else wrote with me, what you've heard so far would cease to exist. You wouldn't get any more Tame Impala. You would have something new, but
Yeah,
you would
be a
never have
different
Tame
band.
Impala again." And it's real. It's kind of like the guy said
his
from
touring
Gizzard.
band Pond is incredible.
And the drummer from Pond has a
is
sweet band
unreal.
named Gum.
Yeah,
I just found them from Stoner. It's amazing.
yeah.
The genesis of this music spreading out,
So you saw King Gizzard last year, and you saw
No, I'm going this year to see them at the Caverns in Tennessee.
you saw King Giz, you saw Tame Impala. My Morning Jacket, I wanted to share a really fun story,
Saw
and
them.
I think this is the opportunity to do it. So My Morning Jacket played Bonnaroo in 2015, And I'm pretty sure that was like the rise of Bonatron back then. He told me of a story where he was playing with
the precursor of Bonatron.
he played with a parachute at Bonnaroo 2015, and he was lying underneath there having the time of his life.
Yeah.
And had all these realizations, and then that year, later that night, so they played, and I think Sunday at Bonnaroo, like all of the artists who aren't playing, what they do, there's a special VIP artist section behind which stage, and they have a crawfish boil, and they invite everyone and anyone who's available. So when I was back there, I saw Danny Clinch, who was a famous photographer. Like, you ever seen like that famous Tupac photo of him, black and white, hands behind his back like this, looking to the side, and
Thug Life.
Thug Life. He shot that photo. Like, all these like iconic like artists, Danny Clinch probably had some sort of like influence on it. So he was back there. I had no idea who he was at the time, but I can tell he was like someone who was important. And from a distance, I see Jim James.
Oh shit.
Yeah. The reason why I'm back here is because I got snuck in by my friend Yvonne. She had an extra pass that was slipped off by a friend, and I have no reason to be back here. I'm just a small fish in a big pond kind of thing, and I'm in like festival gear. So festival gear, mind you, like to me at that time, it was like 8 or 9 o'clock. Everyone is there, like not looking like they just went to a festival. So they're like in jeans. Like, why would you wear a festival like jeans at a festival? They're like the hair done up. They're looking like they're just relaxed. I'm here looking all scrungy. I'm in these booty shorts. These are red.
I've seen those.
Red sequin booty shorts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, from here to here,
Ron's short shorts are incredible.
my short shorts, like it's been a look, and it's the middle of the night, and I just have a fanny pack. So in the right angle, it just looks like I'm just wearing a fanny pack.
Yeah, no pants on.
Yeah, and I didn't have a shirt on, and I think I just had a small sack.
So good.
I had a camelback and a small parachute. So the reason I brought that up, and I was like, you know what, I'm on a mission here. Like, if I'm going to be on VIP, I'm going to go like see who wants to play with a parachute backstage. So I brought a mini 12-foot parachute, probably like more like 24-foot parachute. Snuck it in backstage. Saw Jim James, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to get in a spot next to Jim James and just kind of like see if he'll play with the parachute. And I got some people, like I was just like kind of schmoozing, talking to people like, hey, you want to play with a parachute and all this stuff. And they don't want to play with the parachute. They're in VIP. They're just like, nah, man. I'm like, who are you? Like, that was my like little dose of reality. I'm like, oh man.
Should have blown that whistle.
Should have blown the whistle. I mean, like, you know
Hop
what?
to it, people.
Had a big self-awareness, but I'm like, all right, I'm looking like a crazy person right now.
That's so funny.
But that's fine. It's okay. I'm not going to win them all.
Being you.
I'm just being
That's all
me.
that matters.
I popped out the parachute, and I had sure enough people there, and someone had the bright idea of like, oh man, let's do that thing where we bake out a parachute. I'm like, sure. I mean, like, I don't ever promote that, like, doing that, because like not everyone's there on the same wavelength. Like, people just want to play. They don't want to be subjected to it. But
Right.
when you're in VIP, there was all consenting adults. Be like, you guys cool with this? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So we pop a parachute. We have like probably a dozen people in this. And this is a mini parachute. We're all tucked in. This is not one of the big blooms. I love this story so much, and I'm so glad I'm like getting to tell this on the strange road.
Yes.
We have a little mini circle moment. Everyone is in there. We're like, hey, where are you from? Like, oh, how'd you get here? Like, what's your story, kind of thing. All within 5 minutes, and someone is like passing around a blunt. And the most epic and iconic thing has ever happened to my life. This is the first celebrity parachute people moment. So we go in there, and we're all hunched in. Everyone's going around passing a blunt. And I'm like sitting here and across the way, so just out of my sight, I can't see like some rattling. Someone's just trying to get in, like, because there's always one person that gets caught out of it.
Yeah.
Either stuck out like, hey, I want in, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
This person forced their way in and then got in and somehow timed it up right to get a joint pass, or this blunt passed around to them, hit it, quit it, and left. And I'm like, who is this guy? Like, what is going on here? And everyone had this look in their eyes, just like,
It was him.
It's Jim James.
I wish. I only wish. Sorry,
Jesus.
that was a big. That was a big. Edgy
You did
moment.
a great job there pausing because that was I was like, I almost hit the button like on Jeopardy, like Jim James, Jim James.
All right, here we go. The most epic side swerve ever. So not Jim James, but a big fan of My Morning Jacket. None other than the actor who played McLovin from Superbad.
Shut your
way.
face.
He went in.
McMuffin?
Yeah, dude. Like Fagel, like dude, like the dude,
Yeah.
like Seal, like what is that? Like all of that, like that moment. I'm like, so the actor who played McLovin, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, like really cool dude. Would not have guessed he would have done that, but apparently he's a big fan of My Morning Jacket. Anywhere he goes at a festival, you see him, and he was bearded and everything, so he was just incognito, like minding his own business. But he goes in and literally lifts up the parachute, takes a hit, and everyone's stunned. Be like, dude.
McLovin. Just
Like, yeah, did you not see that? I'm like, what? Like, I couldn't see it. Like, dude, like, I can't live in this suspense. Like, I'm pretty sure McLovin just went underneath his parachute, took a hit, and then left. I'm like, get out. Like,
That
do
just
not,
sounds
do
fake,
not
but
say
that's so funny.
But it's crazy because like
Yeah.
throughout the whole weekend, there was rumblings on the farm saying like, I think I saw McLovin. So I knew
You knew he was in the ether.
He was in the area. Yeah, he was out
shit.
there.
It's
and
like Mikey running into freaking Bautista at the Indy 500 last year.
you ran into Dave.
Yeah, I met Dave Bautista
Gave him a chest
How
slap.
big-
at Ron's bachelor
Gave him a
party.
chest slap.
Just
Mikey did to Bautista.
It's a
Oh.
long story. I don't know if we want to get into
Oh
it.
my gosh! Like, but it's like it's little cool moments like that where just
Yeah.
like he was the first like little celebrity noteworthy parachute cameo, and
Yeah.
ever since then, like I would love to probably say some of the band members from Rainbow Kitten Surprise have played
Nice.
with the
Yeah.
parachute.
Nice.
Let's see, another one there. I mean, Andrew McMahon like literally used it in
He
his
wrapped it
Part of
around
his-
his
He
whole
wrapped-
body
he wrapped
into
it
a
ar-
king's robe.
at Bunbury. So that synesthesia
That was
moment.
so cool.
He has a song. It crowd surfs into the audience,
Yeah.
and he goes up and he hops the rail,
He was, yeah.
and he goes in and like gets in with the people. Doesn't even skip a beat. Sings it perfectly. Not even out of breath. He holds the parachute over him and literally drags it back to stage and returns it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably my favorite all time, like stage audience,
Sure.
like artist interaction at a music festival. It was like worked out perfectly, and I really hope we get to recreate that moment at Bonnaroo, like
this year.
This year. I mean, like it's
Me
been
I
done
can't,
before.
I can't
Me too.
wait to hear
Me
all
too.
the moments you create going forward.
Honestly, like
And hopefully be there to
put
be
a
a part
pin in
of
it
some
right
of them.
now. Just like, all right, this is what manifestation looks like. All right,
For sure.
we're gonna have an Andrew McMahon moment at Bonnaroo. We're gonna have a moment where we unveil a new groove shoot at Pretty Lights at Halloween.
Yeah, well, you've got to plan the manifestation.
It's already real.
It doesn't just
It's
happen
already
for you,
real.
right? But you plan that
And the
manifestation.
people listening, and then
make
this-
it happen.
It's like your own little auditory, like, all right, self-evaluation. Like, hey, you hold yourself to it. This is my pact with myself. It's gonna happen.
Yep.
And the third one, you know what? Let's have another pizza party. It's bound to happen.
Word.
We're gonna give free pizza away starting tonight, Thursday,
There you go.
6 to 8 p.m. Here we go. Like,
Yeah, dude.
look in the comments below. Like, we're gonna bring people together here and really just plan for a really awesome summer. And if you want to get involved with the Parachute People, come find us at theparachutepeople.org.
Yep.
And find us on our Instagram page, and just get to know us. Like, we're hanging out. We're just gonna be popping up at events all around the U.S. this summer. And if you're gonna be in Michigan for Electric Forest, if you're gonna be in Florida,
They're looking for volunteers.
we're looking for
You
volunteers.
see that parachute? Go help out.
Hey,
have
and by the
fun.
way, let me just say how much work the parachute blooms are. You guys bust your ass.
Yeah, you got to work to
It
get
is
it up.
a
so
sweaty
much
mess.
work.
Yeah.
It's a
With
passion
these
of love.
giant parachutes, lugging them around. I mean, the early years was just like, I'm looking at you going, God, this is brutal, dude. But you and Patrick are just like,
Had a
we're
vision.
doing this.
We're doing this.
This
We
is
love it so
happening.
much.
You guys are like gluttons for pain out there.
But you had a
And
vision.
just,
Big
like,
picture people just kind of like,
Yeah.
you know what? It's a labor of
because it's
love.
worth it afterwards. When
It
you
is.
see all the people lose their gourds, that's the payoff.
Yeah.
It is the payoff.
And people hugging, crying, no, bro, you have no idea. Like, that shit's so cool.
It's what fuels me, and it is almost like it is almost selfish at a time in a weird way. Just kind of like I want to give that experience for someone else because like you never know who out there needs it.
Needs it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
You're not wrong.
Bro, we're going to end on that.
Yeah.
Dude, that
I'd
was
say,
a great way to end it. Thank you
Beautiful.
so much.
I want you to
This
be
has
charged
been-
up for tonight and get that
Let me
power
just
nap
say-
in for your event. So I
Yeah,
know
absolutely.
we appreciate you.
And I will
Making
say,
it happen.
this is an episode that's been totally different than anything we've ever done.
But it's still on the
In
strange
terms
road.
of- it's all what I was about to say. Yeah, it's all connected because Campsite Bro Zone, ET, all these things you were connected with. A lot of the early things that developed into like the lore of I don't know the building blocks of the strange road and kind of how we, it's been a long path through festivals, through music, through connecting, through going to shows, and early on it all kind of led to you guys and all these people that are hanging out with us in the
Yep.
chat, and
Absolutely.
through music we were able to all connect, and it's just been incredible to see where you are now with the Parachute People.
Yeah.
What you're doing, bro, we couldn't be more proud of you.
Where it's come from.
And anytime that we can lend a hand and give you a hand with anything,
Any
or you need
promotional
a
shout-outs,
platform
yep.
to come and talk about something, you're always welcome. The Bro Zone's got an open door policy with the Duke of the Vibe Tribe. Okay.
I think that's a good way to wrap it up. Appreciate you, Ron.
Yeah,
Appreciate
dude.
you guys.
Very much so.
Any last words where we can find you?
Last words, just let this be your reminder to be kinder, guys. Like seriously, the parachute is not only just the mission for our nonprofit organization, but just like a way of life of just like, you know what, this is the time in this world we could use a little more kindness. So random acts of kindness is literally the bread and butter, the crucial like guts of the parachute. So however you want to spread kindness, find it in your community and radiate it. So
Nice.
you can find us on the Parachute People on Instagram. We're on Facebook, theparachutepeople.org. And seriously, huge shout out to Bub, Stoner, and Mikey, you of course, man. Like this has been a manifestation of our conversations, and like let this moment be an example of like if you have an idea and it's really just keeps coming back to you, like follow it. I mean, that's what I've done with the Parachute People. This is what you're doing with your studio, and find your community and like collaborate.
Yeah.
That's how we can make the world a better place. Thank you so much, guys.
Oh, dude, thank you. This has
100%.
been a blast, and thanks
Appreciate it.
to everybody watching live. All you guys are incredible.
You
We've
rock.
got some Bonnaroo people, some Strange Road people that all came together for this episode. You guys are awesome. We miss all of you so much.
Yeah.
Wilkie, next time you're in town, we need to hang out.
Stop by.
Yep, absolutely, dude. That's my dude right there. And we just want this weekend to go so well and tonight to go so well for the Parachute People.
Absolutely.
And everything you guys have going on. You guys can find us at The Strange Road all over our podcast platforms, YouTube. Like, subscribe, share this. If you or anybody you know has come in contact with the Roochute, former Roochute or the Parachute People in the past, share this video. I'm not sure if there's ever been an inside episode or interview with Ron with the origin story of the Roochute, now Parachute People.
No,
ever.
we laid
So-
down a lot of history here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Share that if you know anybody that has been affected by the Parachute People.
They can come here for the behind the scenes story of how the parachute got
Yeah.
started with Ron Holgado.
Yeah, dude.
Absolutely. And now how it's bloomed and blossomed into a nonprofit, and like how
Absolutely.
there are people out there just kind of like, you know what, like that's a simple idea. How can we make it even bigger and better?
Right.
And that's That's the power of collaboration.
Absolutely.
Teamwork,
love
what we say at the Parachute People, teamwork makes the dream work.
You know it.
All does. It's all gravy. And yeah, man, I think we crushed on this one. This one was.
There'll be another one.
Yeah, this was.
There'll
great.
be another one.
Ron,
There's going to be so many more
I'll
another
let
ones.
you know. There's time permitting. Let's do this, man. Like I've had so much fun doing this, and
This is
it's
awesome.
It's such a natural high. Like I'm just got a little coffee and donuts on me, so I'm like I'm great, man.
Right.
We're all gravy, baby.
Well, Bonnaroo high five. There we go. We need our baby hand high fives.
Oh wait, hold on. This one's for Sean Wilkie. Group high five.
Yes. All right, guys. Peace.
Yeah.